Chapter 567. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were playing the current version of Go, not the modified version from Japan. This was not because of Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's views on Japan. Although both of them were very anti-Japanese in terms of Go, they had to admit that after Japan's changes, it was more fair to play. The reason why the two of them played this way was to cater to others in the future. For example, if they were playing Go with an official, they couldn't ask the official to play according to their rules, right? The official could be suppressed, but if the emperor played Go with them, they could also tell the emperor that their rules were not good. They had to play according to their rules. Then, the emperor would not have it easy. If he didn't kill them, would he be relieved? This rule was originally an old rule, but for Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, it was a new rule. The two of them were not used to it. They had been playing Go for 3 years, and it was still the same now. Their previous thinking always affected the current way of playing. But even so, with the experience of their predecessors, the Go they played was not comparable to ordinary people, especially the various ancient Go records. If they wanted to learn Go, they first had to understand the rules, then they had to play the records. The two of them were playing Go now. When Old Man Pai and Old Man Yao came over, they just happened to see the layout of the Go board. The two of them were stunned at the same time. Just as they were about to take a closer look, Zhang Xiaobao suddenly wiped the Go pieces, messed up the Go board and said, "I'm not playing anymore, I always lose." "Well then I'm not playing anymore." Wang Wan also found that there were 2 more people watching. This kind of famous game could not be taken out casually. It was easy to be praised high and then be flattened. The two of them stopped playing, but Old Man Bai and Old Man Yao had memorized quite a lot of what they had just seen. They felt that something was not right with this Go game. At the very least, it was not something that 2 children could play. It was as if they had seen the gleam of the blade and the shadow of the sword amidst the majestic wind. Could be said that every step was thrilling. How was it possible? Seeing that they messed up the Go board, the 2 old men were more certain that it was not simple. "Let's continue," said Old Man Pai, who wanted to continue watching. "I'm not playing anymore. It's not fun." "Grandpa Bai, you're back. Did you eat well outside?" Zhang Xiaobao asked Old Man Pai as he started to put the chess pieces into the box. All right. Actually, a few more days won't hurt. It's good to go out for a walk. I heard that you and Cuckoo are sick. What happened?" Old Man Pai deliberately teased Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Zhang Xiaobao glanced at the other person and knew that it was Yao Chong. It was a good opportunity to vent his anger, so he replied, "Actually, it's not a serious illness. I'm just tired. So tired that I fell ill. My head hurts. I'm playing chess to relieve it." This was the first time the 2 old men had heard that a headache could be relieved by playing chess. Wouldn't that mean that the more they played, the more painful their head would be? Old Man Pai continued to ask, "How did you get tired?" Zhang Xiaobao was waiting for this sentence. "Math. Calculating made me tired. It said that from here to the riverside, you have to walk 660,000 feet. From the riverside, you only need 640,000 feet. How is it short? Cuckoo and I haven't been able to calculate it. It also said that if I were to walking 1,800 feet would be the same as walking 2,200 feet for Cuckoo. They're both 200 feet long and then... Wait, why do you have to use a ruler to calculate? If the number is too big, wouldn't it be too small if it's changed to li? When the time comes, it'll be easy to calculate it into a ruler." Yao Chong didn't know what was wrong with him. He also wanted to learn from Old Man Pai and tease Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Zhang Xiaobao really didn't expect the 2 of them to be fooled. However, when Yao Chong asked, Zhang Xiaobao finally found an excuse and immediately said, "There's no other way." Originally, this place was also reasonable. However, since people who don't understand reason started to not understand it, then we can only use a ruler and a zhang to calculate. Yao Chong was in his teens and had seen everything in his life. He had long become unperturbed. However, when he heard Zhang Xiaobao's words today, his old face turned red. He understood that Zhang Xiaobao was scolding someone, and the person he was scolding was him. He was saying that he was unreasonable. Who asked the person he sent to not do a good job? No, he would go back and give him 20 more whips. Without him, would he be scolded? Ha 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 ha. How about it, UNG? Now you know, right? It's fine to offend adults, but you can't offend children. Xiaobao, be reasonable. Everyone is reasonable. Some people are lawless just because the people behind them are powerful. Since they have been dealt with, don't make things difficult for others. Tell us, what is the thing that dropped? Old Man Pai laughed. After laughing until Yao Chong's face turned from red to black, he said something to Zhang Xiaobao. He believed that Zhang Xiaobao would understand what he meant. Zhang Xiaobao indeed understood. It seemed that that person must have been dealt with when he went back. That was why Grandpa Bai and Yao Chong came over personally. Since someone was unlucky, then forget it. Yao Chong wasn't that stupid. He could clearly distinguish what should be done and what shouldn't be done. Grandpa Bai, it seems that you are a blessed person. My head doesn't hurt anymore when you come. Ku, how about you? Zhang Xiaobao had recovered. Wang Wan nodded, meaning that she had also recovered. It was very miraculous. Since you don't feel uncomfortable anymore, then tell me why the thing that was hung up lit up. Old Man Pai had been troubled by this matter. He couldn't sleep well. Zhang Xiaobao was waiting for these 3 lights to go out. When that time came, he would see what was going on. Was it a problem with the material, or was it because the air wasn't sucked dry? At this time, when he heard Old Man Pai ask, he said, "This thing can't be explained in a sentence or two. There are too many things involved. Grandpa Bai, you just need to know that this thing uses a type of electricity, and the place where the windmill is can produce electricity." What is electricity? For example, when you wear a sweater in the winter and take it off when you sleep, sometimes you can hear crackling sounds and see sparks. This is a type of electricity. Electricity can be used to make this thing light up. After Zhang Xiaobao spoke, Old Man Pai and Old Man Yao both sank into deep thought. They had indeed only encountered the kind of thing that happened when you took off your sweater in the winter. So this was the case. The electricity that lit up. This thing was probably the thing that could cause that kind of situation to happen continuously. Then what is the use of this thing? Does it mean that we don't need to light candles in the future? Is it expensive? Old Man Pai had long known that the Zhang family wanted to make money by making something, so he directly asked for the price. It's expensive. The thing that can produce electricity costs 1,000 strings of coins. It uses a lot of copper and also requires magnets. This thing is cheaper. Costs 50 strings of coins. Can't be sold now. The time that it lights up is too short. No one can spend that kind of money. We have to think of a way to make it light up for a longer time. Zhang Xiaobao repeated what he thought to Old Man Pai. Anyway, the price had already been set. No one could change it. Old Man Pai estimated the price and knew that it could not be used by ordinary people. The thing that could make this thing light up cost 1,000 strings of coins. How many ordinary people could not earn money in their lifetime? And the thing that could light up cost 50 strings of coins. How could ordinary people afford it? Seeing Old Man Pai frown, Zhang Xiaobao knew what Old Man Pai was thinking. This wish was beautiful, but it could not be realized. After all, the technology was there. Did he want to connect the whole country to electricity? This project should be completed by future generations. He did not have the ability to do so. What he could do was to use this thing to make money, and at the same time change people's minds. Grandpa Bai, actually, it doesn't have to be so expensive. As long as you buy a lot of these things called light bulbs, you can get a free thing that can produce electricity. After research and understanding it, these light bulbs should be able to be used for a month. One light bulb can light up at least 10 candles. It's cheaper than lighting candles. Zhang Xiaobao added. Old Man Yao nodded. He felt that it was indeed so. That meant it was saving money. However, Old Man Pai did not think so. He asked Zhang Xiaobao, "Is that thing that can produce electricity able to make many light bulbs light up?" "Yes, more or less. As long as there is a good place and power that can make the generator work, It won't be a problem even if 100 light bulbs light up. When the time comes, the whole yard will be lit up. Zhang Xiaobao already felt that Old Man Pai had found the problem. Sure enough, after Old Man Pai heard this answer, he said, "That is to say, as long as this thing called generator can make as many light bulbs light up, people who can afford it will try their best to make as many light bulbs light up as possible, right? You can't let the generator's electricity go to waste, right? Also, every rich family will compare themselves with each other. You are selling too many light bulbs. It's not like you don't know how much a light bulb is worth. Can't it be 20 strings of coins? How much is it worth? Grandpa Bai, how much do you think this light bulb is worth? Give me a number. My family will pay for it. As long as my family can afford it, I will buy it. You can get someone to make one. It's best if it can be a light bulb that can last longer." Zhang Xiaobao immediately asked. Old Man Pai was speechless. He really didn't think about the problem of technology. Other people didn't know how to make glass. Even if they could use colored glass to replace it, they wouldn't be able to make such a shape. Who knew that the light bulb was blown out? Even if the shape was blown out, how could it light up? No one knew what was inside. Even though he knew how the glass was made, people who didn't know wouldn't be able to make it even if they had millions of strings of coins. This was the most valuable part. Just like the propeller. How much did it cost to make a propeller? Wasn't it just stainless steel? Why couldn't others know about it? It was because they were afraid that others would learn it. Technology was the most important. The simplest example was how much a cucumber in winter in the north was worth. How many cucumbers could be grown with that technology? Old Man Pai was no longer the person who used to measure things based on their actual value. He knew the importance of technology. After considering all kinds of aspects, Old Man Pai looked at Old Man Yao and asked Zhang Xiaobao, "Xiaobao, tell me the truth. How much is the cost of this thing, not including the cost of the technology?" Zhang Xiaobao didn't answer. Instead, he looked at Old Man Yao. Old Man Yao immediately swore, "I promise that I won't tell anyone outside of this place. Otherwise, my Yao family will have no descendants. I won't even tell the emperor." Zhang Xiaobao smiled and said, "Actually, I'm not afraid that you two grandpas will tell anyone. At most, it's just the last thing. To be honest, this light bulb costs 5 or 6 coins. The expensive part is the generator. Needs magnets or good magnets. More importantly, it needs a lot of copper. 1 copper is 1,000 pieces. It can be made with less than 20 strings of copper. If you include the various wires, that is to say, with 30 strings of copper, it won't be a problem to buy 1,000 light bulbs and a generator. If you include the windmill and the consumption after failure, 40 strings of copper will be enough. Then why is your family selling it so expensive?" The 2 old men said at the same time. Their hearts also lit up. A light bulb only cost 4 or 5 coins and could be lit for more than a month. Didn't that mean that ordinary people with a little money could use it? 1 generator per family would be enough. A generator like that could light up 1,000 light bulbs, and it wouldn't break down so easily. If 1,000 families used 1 generator, then the cost would be even lower. There was indeed little copper, but wasn't there copper in the newly discovered place? Zhang Xiaobao knew what they were thinking when he saw their expressions. He said, "Grandpa Bai, Grandpa Yao, it's not what you think. I said that a generator can light up 1,000 light bulbs, but that's only in theory. Grandpa Bai knows what theory is. It's impossible in reality. It can't be turned that fast. Moreover, this generator also has a time limit. It's about the same as the light bulbs. It's not bad to use it for 2 months. Has to be done bit by bit. You can't eat a mouthful and become fat. So that's how it is. Then 100 families will do. At most, the cost of this generator. Your family will pay for it. Let's light up a state first." Old Man Yao and Zhang Xiaobao's families had only been in contact for a short time. There were many things that he didn't know, which was why he said that. "We can pay for it, but can you guarantee that this technology won't be stolen by others? Especially this generator. If others learn it, then trouble will come. Grandpas, come with me. I'll show you something fun." As Zhang Xiaobao spoke, he pulled Wang Wan up and asked someone to bring out a generator from the warehouse. He put it on the carriage and drove with the two old men. After an hour, they arrived at the side of a large river. They tied up a horse and asked someone to drive it to provide power. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan each took a line to the side of the river. They found a good position and put the two lines into the water. Old Man Bai and Old Man Yao saw an extremely frightening scene. The fishes in the water started to float up, one by one. Grandpa Bai, Grandpa Yao, do you see this? This thing can be used like this. Has a wide range of uses. If we want to light up a state, how many people would have to be sent to guard each place? How much manpower would the guards have to waste? It's not worth it, Zhang Xiaobao said as he took back one of the lines in his hand. This was what Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan valued the most. This was technology that could generate electricity. Anything that was produced in the future would require the support of this generator. There was an even more important matter that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan did not mention. Now was not the right time to tell them. Old Man Pai and Old Man Yao finally understood. The generator was very important and had many uses. If it was stolen or taken away, the Tang Empire would suffer a great loss. Treasure, it really is a treasure. No wonder you said that you had to meet their requirements. So that's why, Old Man Yao said with emotion. Old Man Pai knew that he was not talking about the generator, but the person that the Zhang family could not find. Things were dead but people were alive. The real treasure was the person. With such a person, what else was there to worry about? Old Man Bai understood this principle a long time ago. That's why, no matter what, we can't tell anyone. Otherwise, unless we can catch them all at once, it might not be useful even if we catch them. Many people can't even pry open their mouths, not to mention those two people who can calculate. Old Man Pai said this close to Old Man Yao's ear. He meant to tell him not to have any crooked thoughts. It was useless. The Zhang family would naturally give them what they could. If they did not give it, it was because it did not belong to the people's livelihood or because it had not been researched properly. Old Man Yao nodded. He understood now. It was not that the Zhang family and Wang family were not unpatriotic. It was just that there were many things that could not be used directly. They had to be researched thoroughly before they could be used. Otherwise, it would be easy for spies from other countries to learn. When we have earned enough money, the first thing we will do is to get people to build more ships. Then we will go out to sea and go to places further away, Zhang Xiaobao said after he put away the things. Where are we going? The two old men asked again at the same time. Even if I tell you, you won't know. It's very far away. It's even further away than the island that belonged to Tang Empire that was just discovered last year. There are things we need there. If we want to let the people use this kind of light bulb, we have to go there. Maybe we can find more copper mines along the way. Now we can ask the Ministry of Works to send people over. We will teach them research little by little, and improve little by little. When the day comes, we will be able to let the people of Tang Empire use this kind of thing and produce better things. Zhang Xiaobao could not say, and he could not explain it clearly. He could not tell the two old men that the Zhang family and Wang family needed a fleet to go to the Straits of Malacca, or even further away. He would not go there personally, as it would be easy for him to get lost in the sea. Old Man Pai knew that the Zhang family had many secrets, so he did not press them. It was not a coincidence that he could understand so many things now. He had put in a lot of effort to gain the recognition of the Zhang family and Wang family. Otherwise, with Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's smart looks, how could they reveal all the secrets? Old Man Yao was also getting used to it. He also understood that the two children in front of him were not easy to fool, especially after Zhang Xiaobao's reaction after the people he sent did the wrong thing. Other than the current emperor who was smart when he was young, whose child could be so smart? He immediately knew that he should not come to meet him and Old Man Pai. On the way back, Old Man Pai deliberately sat in the same car as Old Man Yao and drove Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan to another car. He still had something to say to Old Man Yao. You must remember one thing. That is, it is not a big deal to lie to Xiao Bao and Cuckoo. The two children are just playing with us. It is okay to be tricked and suffer losses, but you must not lie to their families. For his father, that Xiao Bao is willing to do anything. Old Man Pai warned Old Man Yao in the car. Old Man Yao was really not clear about this matter. He asked, Long Zhe, what will happen if I bully Zhang Zhong? After bullying me, he will run back to the capital. What can that child do? Then he can ask the emperor to hand you over. If he doesn't hand you over, he will blow up the capital. Don't doubt whether he will do it or not. Don't test whether he dares or not. There is only one chance. He is special to his family. Look at the 4 children's houses. Don't you know? When Old Man Pai thought of how Zhang Xiaobao dealt with people who looked down on his father or bullied his father, he trembled like a madman. In addition, the Zhang family did have something very dangerous, so no one could stop him. Old Man Yao nodded and said, I saw it. Although the outside of the house is well made and other spices are used, I smell it. There is agarwood inside. Could it be? Yes, the entire house is made of agarwood. Xiao Bao and Cuckoo are very good to their family. The master who taught them also seems to spoil them. Many things are not made to make money, but to make their family more comfortable. The 2 children are smart, but the best thing about them is not in their studies, but in their cooking and making clothes. The clothes they make are the most comfortable to wear, and the food they make is also the best. It is to make their family more comfortable. Do you understand? Old Man Pai touched his clothes, meaning that he also had clothes made for the 2 children. Yao Chong had experienced so many things in his life, but now he was shocked by Old Man Pai's words. He really did not expect it to be like this. He could not understand, really could not understand. At the same time, he was a little jealous of the Zhang family and the Wang family. They gave birth to a son and a daughter, and they were so sensible and filial since they were young. Now you know, right? This is also the reason why I am not willing to interact with the rest of the Zhang family and the Wang family. If I don't pay attention when I speak, the 2 children will definitely be angry, so I usually stay with the 2 children. The food they make is delicious, and they know how to take care of people. There is nothing wrong with joking with them and lying to them. Many people do not know and offend Zhang Zhong. The result is that they can neither live nor die. Needless to say, the 2 children will blow up the capital for their family. With their methods and the guidance of the master behind them, they can use benefits to exchange for other people's lives. If you don't believe me, you can find someone with enough power to try and see if they will give up all their technology in order to buy that person's life. If you don't like anyone, you can ask that person to come and find trouble with Zhang Zhong. Old Man Pai looked at Old Man Yao's shocked expression and said a few more words. This time, Old Man Yao finally believed him. He did not think that Old Man Pai would lie to him. He asked, Then how can I let the 2 children follow me and ask for more information in the future? That's simple. Just teach them knowledge, and they will follow you. They are very eager to learn. After teaching them, you will know. It is lucky to be able to teach such children. Smart, you can't find anyone smarter. Chapter 568. Old Man Bai and Old Man Yao did not bring up the matter of the light bulb again. Wang Wan also took out the knowledge that she had taught Zhang Xiaobao and taught it to the 2 old men. Old Man Pai had the foundation of nature, so he could learn relatively quickly. Old Yao was confused when he saw what Wang Wan had written. He could only let Old Man Pai teach him the first part first. At this time, the military registrar and the others couldn't stay idle. The 2 mines couldn't be mined yet, so there were people who went to take a look from time to time. These people weren't sent by Zhang Zhong, but they were related to Zhang Zhong. After all, he had asked many people to go there to recite poems. Other people went there to see if the scenery was as beautiful as what was written in the poems. As a result, there were people going there every day. Some people didn't even care about the poems and just went there to look at the scenery. There were also people who specialized in fishing on top of the copper mines. The military registrar and the others wanted to secretly seal off the mines, but the Zhang family's people had to take a look every time they passed by, so they couldn't do anything. On this day, the military registrar called the 6 people over. At the same time, he asked the county magistrate of Taihu County to find an excuse to come over. The 8 of them were ready to discuss. In fact, the county magistrate of Taihu County didn't want to come at all. He had the least benefits, but he had to bear the most risks. He could imagine that if something happened to the 2 mines, the first person to be dealt with would be him. After all, he was the county magistrate there. But he had no other choice. He couldn't find a way to transfer himself away, and it wasn't the first time he had cooperated with other people. Once he boarded the pirate ship, it was harder to get out. The 8 of them gathered together under the reluctance of the county magistrate. The military registrar spoke first. You know what happened recently? Besides Bai Go, there is another person we can't afford to offend. Maybe in a few days there will be more people coming. If that time comes, we won't have any chance. With high officials like them, what can they not understand? At the same time, their methods are not ordinary. Now I want to ask, what are you going to do? Are we going to keep the mines like we are doing now, or are we going to follow the instructions in the letter? He spoke casually, as if it had nothing to do with him. Every time he said, "You guys," the 7 of them understood. What he meant was that if something went wrong, they would have to bear the responsibility, but if they got something good, they would have to join the army and take the lion's share. The 7 of them were under a lot of pressure. The one with the most pressure was the county magistrate of Taihu County. He opened his mouth and wanted to say something, but in the end, he closed it again. He knew that even if he really came up with a good idea, no one would credit him for it. Why bother? After all, it was not his problem alone. At this time, he had already decided that if he was really regarded as a scapegoat, he would say whatever he wanted to say. He would not care about others at all, even if they threatened him with his family. He was not ignorant at all. He knew that most of the time what others said was simply a lie. They said something like, "Protect your family, don't let go, and find a way to get some poison to feed you. Everything will be fine after you eat it. In the end, everything will be fine. In the future, no one will care whether your family lives or dies." That was exactly what he thought. He closed his mouth tightly, waiting to see what the others would say. As he thought, the other 6 people kept looking at him unconsciously, which meant that he had to take the responsibility. He pretended not to see it. At this time, the military registrar also echoed, "Well, that's right. It's not easy now. If we have to wait for Zhang Zhong to leave, it will take more than a year. How much less mining will we have to do? Even if we can wait, the people above can't wait. It's all money. How about this, in Taihu County, we will chase away all the people who want to watch the show. Then we won't have to worry about being discovered by others. What do you think?" When he said that, the county magistrate of Taihu County really wanted to bite him to death. It was easy to say, but could things really be done that way? If he gave the order, he would be courting death. This was not only known by the county magistrate of Taihu County, but also by the other people. They did not agree with the military registrar's words. What was the use of saying a way to harm others? If they really did harm to a county magistrate, who could guarantee that the new county magistrate would be obedient? The military registrar was reasonable. He glared at the military registrar and said, "This method definitely won't work. If that's the case, Zhang Zhong will have an excuse. With one less person, we will have less strength. Think about it again. If there is really no good way, then we will do as what is written in the letter. When we do it, we have to be discreet and not let anyone find out. Otherwise, not only will we lose our lives, but our families will also be implicated. Who can do anything about it? You don't have to be afraid, just say it and we will discuss it together." "Let's use that method," I agree. When the military registrar saw that his superior was looking at him, he could only choose to support him, even if his heart was beating faster and faster. "Wait, I think we don't have to do this. There are other methods." At this time, the county magistrate of Taihu County could no longer remain silent. He was scared to death. Even if he was not allowed to send people this time, he could not think of running away. If that was the case, it was better to use his own 2 methods. The other 7 people immediately looked at him, hoping that he could come up with a better idea. After taking 2 deep breaths, the county magistrate of Taihu County said, "One is to seal off those 2 places and prevent others from going there. Then we can secretly mine." "I already said this just now, but you didn't say anything," the military registrar said unhappily. The county magistrate of Taihu County could not refute, so he could only bear with it and explain, "My method is not to force people to go there. That will definitely cause trouble. However, we can act mysterious and scare people so that they won't dare to go there. As long as you give me 10 days, I have a way to come up with the second method, which is to lure Zhang Zhong to investigate us. If he doesn't investigate us, then it's fine. As long as he does, then we have an excuse to impeach him. At the same time, we can also get help from the higher-ups." "Oh, is it really feasible? Tell me in detail." The military registrar was interested. Just like what the county magistrate of Taihu County thought, if there was a mistake, he could push the blame to others. If there was a merit, then he would take the biggest share. It would be a waste not to take advantage of such benefits. The county magistrate of Taihu County felt very wronged, but he had no choice but to say the entire method to get everyone to agree. He really did not dare to do as the letter said. That was a disaster that could destroy his entire family. If he harmed others, he would not be able to get away with it. However, the higher-ups would be fine. After the county magistrate of Taihu County explained his method, the military registrar was the first to praise. "Good, not bad. We have discussed a good method today. Now, we will let the county magistrate of Taihu County carry it out. Does anyone have any other ideas?" "Sir, you are indeed amazing. You have so many ideas. Admire you." "I have no other opinions," the military registrar immediately said. The other 5 judges also kept on praising the military registrar. The county magistrate of Taihu County did not have any angry expression, even though the method he just said was thought of by the military registrar in less than 10 breaths. "You must do this well. Don't waste the method we thought of. There is no other method like this. You must cherish it," the military registrar said to the county magistrate of Taihu County with a kind face. "Sir, please rest assured. I will definitely do this well. Thank you for your advice." What else could Taihu County's county magistrate say? He had seen shameless people before. However, he could only bear with it since he had turned into a shameless and two-faced person. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were not here, so they did not know the content of the conversation. Otherwise, they would realize that these officials were no different from the officials of their time. It meant that if the people below wanted to achieve good results, they had to first pass the method to the higher-ups. Then it would become the higher-ups' idea. This way the results would belong to the higher-ups. If the results were wrong, the people below would bear the responsibility. If the results were right, they would be promoted and become rich. If the officials below dared to do a good job without the higher-ups knowing, the first thing they would do was to suppress them with public opinion. When they realized that the public opinion could not suppress them, they would transfer them to the retirement section. It would be useless even if the people jointly wanted to protect the good officials. In addition to this kind of official circle, there was also the academic circle. As long as the disciple researched something, it would belong to the teacher. All the results, including the thesis, would belong to the teacher. Otherwise, it would be disrespectful to the teacher. This was also the reason why so many talents stayed abroad and did not come back. At this time, the 8 officials were performing such a scene. It was a blatant robbery. They had to smile and flatter when they were being robbed. Just like what Zhang Xiaobao once said to Wang Wan, the real actors were not in the film industry, but in the official circle. Therefore, if they wanted to cheat, it was better to cheat the officials than to cheat the actors. The 8-party meeting ended. The county magistrate of Taihu County left with the military registrar's good idea. He did not need to ask too much about the details because he knew better than anyone. After adding one more old man, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had to take some time to accompany the three old men every day. For example, they would electrocute the fish and paint the light bulbs in various colors. Anyway, they could always find something fun to do. Ever since they had the generator, the three old men had stopped fishing. They felt that this thing was more interesting. In the spirit of research, they would go to the generator once or twice a day. In the past 5 days, they had even been electrocuted themselves. Fortunately, the electrocution could be stopped at any time. The three old men were not in life-threatening danger. According to Wang Wan's words, one would know the strength of the wine after getting drunk. One would know the strength of the wine after getting electrocuted. After the three old men and the 2 children came to the river, the old men decided to give the electrocution to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, even if the 2 of them had no interest in it. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had already prepared. The 2 of them took out a pair of large leather boots, the kind that was made of 2 layers of leather. They put gum in the middle and stepped into the water. After feeling it for a while, they put the wires in their hands into the water. They also wore gloves on their hands. The 2 of them were not as stupid as the 3 old men. They did not know the insulation and directly jumped into the river. It would be strange if they were not electrocuted. Xiaobao, Cuckoo, how can you do this? Can this thing prevent people from being electrocuted? Why didn't you say so before? Old man Chong pretended to be angry and said. After he was electrocuted, he felt uncomfortable from his head, neck and stomach. Now that he saw the things that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan used, he immediately understood that there was a way to protect them. In the past, the 2 little guys were unwilling to take it out. What? Cuckoo and I are actually afraid of water. We get confused when we see water, especially when we stand in the water. That's why we wear boots. Grandpa Zhang, since you want one, I'll make one for you later. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan explained to Old Man Chong after they had been electrocuted for more than 10 days. Old Man Chong was stunned for a moment before nodding. It was not that he acknowledged Zhang Xiaobao's words, but that he acknowledged Zhang Xiaobao's shamelessness. When had Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan ever been afraid of water? Amidst the laughter of the crowd, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had already electrocuted quite a lot of fish. It seemed that it was enough for their families to eat today. Only then did they stop. Just as the 2 of them stopped, before they could explain anything, a fast horse came to their side. The person on the horse did not even dismount and said to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, "Young master, young lady, Taihu County is haunted. Now no one dares to go there. Master asked me to come and find you 2 to go back." Haunted. I think it's just a trick. Even a big ghost like me can't do anything. Who would dare to? Zhang Xiaobao did not believe in ghosts at all. If it was another place, he might hesitate. However, it was impossible for something like this to happen in Taihu County. The only explanation was that the other party had thought of a way and was preparing to mine. To Zhang Xiaobao this was good. He was waiting for an opportunity to occupy the 2 mines. To be precise, he was waiting for Li Sun to occupy them. He was worried about where to start. Now that the other party had made a move, what should he do? He could only accept it. After letting the person go back first, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan prepared to leave. The 3 old men did not know about this matter and immediately stopped them. "Xiaobao, Cuckoo, what happened? Which place is haunted? How is that possible?" Old Man Pai asked doubtfully. Zhang Xiaobao saw that the 3 of them were also concerned about this matter, so he could only tell the 3 of them what had happened. They are too bold. Don't they know that our dynasty is currently lacking in copper? They actually want to secretly mine at this time. No, this matter cannot be let go so easily. I will write a report to impeach them. Old Man Yao was angry and was about to do it. Old Man Pai immediately pulled him back and said, "Let's see what Xiaobao and Cuckoo have to say. In fact, it's not a big deal. The main thing is that we can't find evidence. Now that we are not afraid of them taking action, we are afraid that they have been hiding. Now it seems that they can't bear it anymore. That's good. Maybe we can find their weakness. When the time comes we will talk about it. These 2 mines have already been given to Li Sun. When the time comes, the marble mine will be managed by Li Sun himself. Even if the copper mine is mined, it will be sent to the capital. Li Sun will not refine copper himself, so you can rest assured. 3 grandpas, you don't have to interfere. Just watch from the side. It's just a small matter. My family has already prepared. Isn't it just a ghost? Let them be. Zhang Xiaobao was afraid that the 3 old men would want to meddle in this matter. That would make things difficult for him. After all, he had already promised Li Sun 2 mines. Even if there was one that Li Sun would not be able to obtain in the end. Yes. We are worried for nothing. How can we be needed for this kind of thing? The Zhang family must have already made arrangements. Since that's the case, let's do it. Does your family want to catch ghosts? Old Man Pai only reacted when he heard Zhang Xiaobao's words. He felt that it was impossible that the 2 masters of the Zhang family did not know about this kind of thing. Since they knew, of course, they would have a way to deal with it. Why were they still worrying here? Zhang Xiaobao did not explain and said, "We have to catch ghosts, but we can't go now. No matter what, we have to wait until they have mined enough, or if we go now we won't get anything. People here are ghostly. They are even more ghostly than ghosts. Oh. Then I really need to take a good look and see what kind of methods your Zhang family has." This old man remembers now. Your courtyard, oh, it's Xiaobei's courtyard. Could it be that the marble stones in that mine came from? No wonder your family is so generous and directly gave the children something to play with. Old Man Pai thought of the marble floor as he spoke. At first, he was wondering where the Zhang family found such good stones. Now everything was clear. The Zhang family should have gotten a batch of such things. That made sense. Zhang Xiaobao did not admit to this. Since he already knew, why should he say more? After getting on the horse with Wang Wan, he did not wait for the 3 old men to return and ran back home. As soon as he entered the house, he saw Zhang Zhong sitting there waiting. Zhang Zhong also saw his son and daughter-in-law at the same time. He stood up and asked the 2 of them, "Something happened over there. I heard that a person went crazy. Then a few people went over and also went crazy. They don't know anything. It's haunted. Can you go and catch them?" Zhang Zhong really believed that the place was haunted. Now, he was counting on the 2 immortal children to go and catch the ghost, so that the future plan could be carried out. "We can catch them. Dad, you don't have to worry. It's just a small matter. Leave it to me and Cuckoo. Don't worry now. We can catch them in a few days." At this time, the ghost is still not strong enough. Zhang Xiaobao said with certainty. Wasn't it just a ghost? If they wanted to catch it, then just catch it. When the time came, what else could they do? With his son's words, Zhang Zhong was relieved. Until now, he still thought that his son was telling the truth. The news of Taihu County being haunted spread like wildfire. Soon everyone knew about it. Not only did the people from the province know about it, even the people from the neighboring provinces also knew about it. Originally, many people wanted to go and take a look at the places that Zhang Zhong had been to, but now they gave up on this idea. They were also afraid. No matter how powerful Zhang Zhong was, he was still immortal. That place was haunted. Especially after knowing about the haunted place, Zhang Zhong was still indifferent. This made more people anxious. In their opinion, even if the provincial governor Zhang Zhong didn't go and take a look himself, he should at least find someone to catch the ghost. However, provincial governor Zhang Zhong didn't do anything. The first thought that came to the people's minds was that even the provincial governor couldn't do anything. Perhaps he had secretly sent someone to catch the ghost but failed. What would he do in the future? Under such an atmosphere, a rumor spread. It said that Zhang Zhong was an unlucky person. Otherwise, why would he be haunted after coming to Suzhou? Especially when he personally went to the 2 places in Taihu Lake. In the beginning, no one believed this rumor at all. However, as more and more people talked about it, those who didn't believe it couldn't help but think in this direction. Now, the thing that the people wanted to see the most was Zhang Zhong personally come out to clarify the matter. However, Zhang Zhong still didn't do anything. It was as if he had admitted to this matter. The people started to panic. They weren't worried that Zhang Zhong had really attracted the ghost. They were worried about this year's harvest. If it was really like what others said, that provincial governor Zhang was an unlucky person, then would the provincial government still be able to succeed? This was a lot of money. Even though they had already agreed that they wouldn't have to compensate even if they failed, they had still put in effort. If they didn't do this work, they could do other things outside to earn more money. Now their time was delayed. As they thought about it, the people's hearts started to become unstable. Zhang Zhong also knew about the situation outside and was very anxious. In a situation where there was no other way, he went to find his son and daughter-in-law. He wanted to ask them what to do. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were really holding a wire and doing experiments in a porcelain basin in the courtyard. When they saw Zhang Zhong arrive, they could only stop what they were doing. Xiaobao, Cuckoo, do you know what the outside world is saying now? Everyone is saying that I attracted the ghost. Even those who learn from us are scared. Zhang Zhong really didn't want to trouble his son and daughter-in-law. He knew that the two of them were busy, but if he didn't look for them now, who else could he look for? The three old men had already looked for them, and their ideas were basically the same. That was to let Zhang Zhong go to Taihu County to take a look. Zhang Zhong came to ask his son and daughter-in-law if they also thought so. If so, then he would go and take a look and let people know that there was no ghost in that place. Of course, the premise was that he brought his son and daughter-in-law to catch the ghost. He believed that the ghost's skills were far inferior to his son and daughter-in-law's. Zhang Xiaobao listened to his father and said, "It seems that someone can't wait and has to use this method to test it. Now is not the time. Let's wait, father. Don't worry. You can do this now and then continue to stay here. Don't worry about the ghost or not. It's just a small matter." After telling the matter to his father, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan continued to experiment. With electricity they could do more things. If they didn't use it, it would be a waste of the electricity. Zhang Zhong saw that his son and daughter-in-law were not anxious, so he came up with another idea. This time he was relieved. He didn't want to disturb his son and daughter-in-law and left Yuan Yuan to make arrangements. In the afternoon, many Yamen runners appeared in front of the provincial government. This group of Yamen runners surrounded the area in front of the provincial government. Curious, the commoners came closer to take a look. When they had gathered enough people began to move things out of the door. They were all boxes, one after another. A total of 100 large boxes were moved out before they stopped. Zhang Zhong didn't appear. Steward Zhang stood in front of the boxes and shouted to the surrounding people, "Are you all scared by the ghost in Taihu County these days? Do you still think that it won't work? Don't be afraid. Today, I'll let everyone know Master's determination." After shouting this, Steward Zhang asked people to open all 100 boxes. As the boxes were opened, the surrounding people let out a burst of exclamations. The boxes were full of copper coins. If so many copper coins were poured out, they would be piled up into a small mountain. Steward Zhang was very satisfied with the reaction of the people. At this time he shouted a few more times, asking the people to keep quiet. When the people gradually quieted down, he continued to shout, "Do you see so much money? Master had said that as long as one followed the method of trapping and did not cause trouble for oneself, then even if one failed in the end, it would be fine. The money that was given out earlier would not need to be returned. Moreover, anyone who failed would be able to get 2 strings of money. It will be more than what you earn when you work outside during this period of time. Rest assured and don't be afraid even if something happens. You don't have to worry about those little ghosts in Taihu County." The solution to the crisis was very simple. The simple people didn't care about anything else as long as they could see the benefits in front of them. After the steward promised, one by one, they spread the news to the people they knew as fast as they could, especially the relatives who had already participated in the scheme. They were afraid that if their relatives didn't take care of them and went outside to work, they would earn less and lose more than they did now. After all, the steward of the provincial governor had said that as long as they didn't make trouble for themselves, they would compensate. Rumors came and went quickly. Those who didn't have much confidence in Zhang Zhong were no longer afraid. They continued to follow the method steadily. The ghosts were only in Taihu County. At worst they wouldn't go there. What else could they do? Could it be that the ghosts there would come to their side? The crisis that had just appeared disappeared just like that. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan didn't spend much effort on this kind of thing. It wasn't worth it. It was just a small trick. Wasn't the bank run much more serious than this? Could it be that the crazy stock market couldn't be compared to this kind of simple problem? The human heart was complicated, but it was also simple. Compared to the officialdom, the affairs of the people were easier to deal with. As long as there was a little guarantee of benefits, it would be enough. No power was needed, and they wouldn't want to kill a certain official. Xiao Bao, it seems that they are afraid, so they used such a despicable method. If they continue to do nothing, it will be very tiring. A sword that is not out of its sheath is the scariest sword. Once it is out of its sheath, it is nothing. Wang Wan put her mouth to the lead in the porcelain basin in front of her. After taking a breath, she said to Zhang Xiaobao, "This is a struggle. It's very interesting. How long has it been?" 5 minutes. Try it and see if it can catch fire. Zhang Xiaobao also said. Then, he turned the glass cup upside down on the porcelain basin and put the burning wooden stick on it. With a boom, a ball of fire appeared 2 inches away from the glass cup. Came and went quickly. Zhang Xiaobao nodded with satisfaction. Wang Wan did the same. She put a burning wooden stick on top of the glass cup. The flame on the wooden stick suddenly became bigger. She threw the wooden stick away. Okay, we can continue to improve in the future. They are not at the same level at all. It's easy to think, but it's not that easy to trick others. It's haunted or even a demon. Do we need to personally participate in the next step? No, Team Zero is enough. It's just that this time we can only deal with one person. It's not enough to deal with all of them. We have to see if the county magistrate of Taihu County is tough. Since the light bulb has been made, let's test it on him first. You should be the best, right? After Zhang Xiaobao saw that the experiment in front of him was a success, he heaved a sigh of relief. It was finally completed. His side might not be of much use, but Wang Wan's side was different. Wang Wan was also very gratified. However, when she heard Zhang Xiaobao's words, she immediately asked, "What do you mean? Am I a bad person like the Brocade Clan guards? Or the East and West guards? I'm not a bad person. I admit. How can bad people be compared to the Special Second Department? Even the worst person in the world is inferior when compared to you," Zhang Xiaobao said as he packed up. Wang Wan did not help this time. She said with dissatisfaction, "Do you think we are the same as those unscrupulous local police? After extorting a confession, they will find all kinds of reasons. I don't know what they are thinking. There are actually people who die while breathing. So worrying. What intelligence. Let's not talk about this anymore. You are the greatest, okay? Send people out now. We can start in a few days. It's very interesting. There must be some twists and turns in it. It's a pity. If they came from the same place as us, they would definitely not use such retarded methods." Zhang Xiaobao poured the water, dragged the porcelain basin and walked back. He handed the wire in his hand to Wang Wan. Wei Wei shook her head, looking very lonely. Wang Wan saw that Zhang Xiaobao had thrown something to her, so she could only accept it. She walked behind Zhang Xiaobao and suddenly said, "Why don't we make it more lively? We can call Grandpa Bai, Grandpa Zhang and Yao Chong. It will be very interesting to have fun together." "Think that's fine. We'll do as you say. Let's tell them in advance so that they can be prepared. Don't be scared when the time comes. Don't tell them. They aren't afraid of being scared. That's more fun." Wang Wan disagreed. Chapter 569. Under the scorching sun, they sweated profusely as they worked with shovels and picks. Shallow water couldn't cool down the heat, but deep wells could cool down easily. Cold melons quenched thirst, and green beans were added to the porridge. Moving mountains and building bridges were hard work, and the roads extended in all directions to build a hometown. Li Sun's road construction project had always been in progress, and he was the one who paid for it. The imperial court would never give him money for his fief. This year, he had not even received the rent he was supposed to receive, but he had already spent 30,000 strings of coins. Looking at the people who didn't slack off when they were working, Li Sun was happy to spend money. He learned from the Zhang family and gave the people who worked on the roads a salary and food. The people weren't slaves. They consumed a lot of energy from their work, so they had to be well nourished. The first meal in the morning was salted beans and sorghum rice. The people usually ate this kind of food, as well as highland barley. However, they couldn't eat salted beans, and they didn't dare to eat sorghum rice. That would consume too much food. Li Sun paid for the road construction. As long as they didn't eat exotic delicacies, he didn't care. They could eat. The more they ate, the more energy they had. At noon they changed the dishes. According to nutrition, there was one meat dish and one vegetable dish. The vegetables were all kinds of local vegetables. For meat, there were only 3 choices: pork, fish, and chicken. Except for the fish that was caught locally, the pork and chicken were all provided by Sanshui County or Yaozhou. Relying on his fleet, Li Sun did things from the north to the south. Not including the transportation fee when a pig was sent to Suzhou, it was the price of 2 pigs, ice money. Such wealth made the people feel relieved. Provincial Governor Zhang's family was rich, and the county king was also rich. They didn't have to worry about collecting taxes. Following the care of the Zhang family and the Wang family, besides eating, the rest was green beans and sorghum water. In the beginning, Li Sun forgot about this matter. The people didn't know how they could enjoy such treatment when they were paid to work on the roads. They never thought about it. When they started to work on the roads, the people thought that even if the county king wanted them to work for free, they had to do it. They only hoped that they could do 20 days of work a year. In the end, when they found out that they were getting paid, they felt relieved. When they were given food on the first day, they all felt like they were in a dream. With such benefits, who would dare to think of anything else? When Li Sun had nothing to do, he finally discovered a problem. The weather was hot, and the people brought their own water bags. If the road was built close to the river, it would be convenient. They could drink water directly from the river. For others, this was a very normal thing, but for Li Sun, it was not normal. He had already paid for the meal, so why would he care about the money for the mung bean water? From that day onwards, the green bean water with rock sugar was continuously supplied. These days, the watermelons in the sand by the river were harvested. Li Sun began to ask people to throw the watermelons into Jingli town to quench the thirst of the workers. He also gave one to each person to take back home for their family to eat. He asked them to bring back the skin and seeds so that they could make food. In addition to various benefits, Li Sun also asked people to write slogans and shout slogans. This kind of thing did not have a big impact on the knowledgeable people, but it had a different effect on the ordinary people. Even if the people did not know what was written, they were still willing to listen to others say it before they told others. The general meaning was to build their own hometown and make it more beautiful. After Li Sun was done with this matter, he turned around and started to make money. If he did not make money, why would he plant so many watermelons? Because Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had asked the doctors of the medical college to research various uses of watermelons. When they arrived, everyone prepared a variety of watermelons and then mixed them with other medicines and tonics to sell to the rich. The restaurant between the clouds and the water also followed suit and launched a winter melon banquet. They could only make money for 1 year. By the next year, more people would plant watermelons and they would not be valuable anymore. They were easy to plant and could be planted in the sand. Of course, they could not keep it a secret. After all, it was not an industrial thing. Once they made money, they would let the people benefit. Zhang Xiaobao, Wang Wan, and Li Sun were ready to take advantage of this one and only opportunity to earn back the money they had invested in the local construction. While Li Sun was busy with the watermelons, Zhang Zhong had already organized the bailiffs in the manor. He also transferred 500 soldiers from the military registrar. Under the cover of the night, they ran all the way to Taihu County. Along with them were Old Man Chong, Old Man Pai, and Old Man Yao. The military registrar also brought along a few related officials. In his hands was a document written by Zhang Zhong regarding the deployment of soldiers to investigate the copper mine. He followed behind the group with a cold smile on his face. Zhang Zhong rode on the horse and told the 3 old men about the situation in Taihu County. The 3 old men also expressed their support. After capturing the people, Old Man Pai and Old Man Yao prepared to write a letter of impeachment. Zhang Zhong also brought along the 3 dogs raised by Wang Wan to help find the people who wanted to escape. It could be said that he was determined. The whole group ran forward as fast as they could. According to the information they received, a group of people came out of Taihu County a few days ago. There were also many carriages. On the carriages were copper ores and marble that were secretly mined from who knows where. They wanted to first reach the Wanshui River, then enter the Yangtze River to transport the goods. Zhang Zhong gave the group the order to stop at the Wanshui River and capture the people. If one of them came, they would be caught red-handed. The group left when the sky had just turned dark. They ran until 5:15 in the morning before they arrived at the location. As expected, when they arrived, they saw people moving things from the docked boats to the shore. Hearing the urging sounds coming from there, they knew that the other party was very anxious. "Sir, what should we do next?" The military registrar came from behind and asked Zhang Zhong. "Capture them. Regardless of whether they are on the boats or on the shore, capture them all." Zhang Zhong said with a sullen face. "Sir, what about the charges?" The military registrar asked again. "Didn't I already write the charges for you? As for whether they are secretly mining copper ores to make weapons or privately minting coins, won't it be clear after you capture them and ask them? Why aren't you moving?" When Zhang Zhong saw that the military registrar was not moving, he was slightly dissatisfied. He pointed at the front and said, "If you let one of them escape, you can expect to be impeached by me." The military registrar seemed to be frightened. He shouted, "Guards! The provincial governor has ordered that the people in front are secretly mining copper ores to make coins. Capture them all. If anyone resists, kill them." The 500 soldiers unsheathed their swords and nocked their arrows. They charged forward while yelling. It was quite a scene, but no matter how one looked at it, they lacked a murderous aura. Zhang Zhong shook his head. He did not care about the local soldiers. After all, he was not the one in charge. There was a military registrar here. The military and political affairs were separated. Unlike Lu Zhou, it was more convenient to use him. After a moment of chaos, 2 men ran back to report that everyone had been captured. Before Zhang Zhong could say anything, Old Man Pai and the other 2 men came out of the chariot. Under the protection of the guards, they walked forward to see who was so bold. The military registrar adjusted his armor and said to Zhang Zhong, "Lord Zhang, please." Zhang Zhong responded. He dismounted from his horse and strode forward. The military registrar followed behind him. He looked at the sky and then looked in another direction. A smug smile appeared on his face. Old Man Pai and the other 2 men arrived first. With the help of the light from the newly lit torches, they saw the 40 or so people being captured. They snorted coldly. Just as they were about to say something, they suddenly realized that they could not interfere in this matter. They had to wait for Zhang Zhong to arrive first. Zhang Zhong was not in a hurry. He walked over slowly and glanced at the people being captured. He asked, "Do you know why you're being captured?" "My lord, we don't know. You can't capture people for no reason. My lord, you have to investigate thoroughly. One of the people being captured struggled forward, but he was held down tightly by the people being captured. He opened his mouth to complain. The military registrar took a few steps forward and said loudly, "How dare you quibble? The provincial governor is here. He said that you secretly mined the copper mine. Fortunately, the provincial governor is smart and knows what you did in advance. If you don't confess quickly, you won't have to suffer." After the military registrar shouted at this person, he turned to Zhang Zhong and said, "My lord, it seems that they won't tell if they don't suffer a little. How about? No, they will tell when the time comes. Tie them up and take them back." Zhang Zhong refused the military registrar's suggestion and ordered. That person struggled even harder. He shouted as he struggled, "My lord, I'm innocent. We didn't mine the copper mine. We just chopped wood and wanted to transport it back to make charcoal. My lord, I'm innocent." "He's quibbling again. Take him away." This time it was Zhang Zhong who spoke. He turned around and prepared to go back. The military registrar stepped forward and blocked Zhang Zhong. He said, "My lord, it's late at night. I will listen to you. Why don't you take a look at the ship and the goods that haven't been loaded? Otherwise, if you catch the wrong person, it will be difficult for me. Please make the decision." The military registrar said that he wanted Zhang Zhong to think about it, but he didn't give Zhang Zhong a chance to speak. As soon as the military registrar finished speaking, he immediately ordered, "Come, take down the things on the ship. Bring the things that haven't been loaded on the ship here. The provincial governor will make the decision." All the soldiers answered in unison. Some rushed to the ship to take the things, and some unloaded the goods from the carts on the shore. The rest of the people were waiting here. The sound coming from the other side made them feel that something was wrong. Old Man Pai looked at Old Man Yao in confusion and said, "It does sound like wood. Did Zhang Zhong come to the wrong place? Did he catch the wrong person? It's over. If he didn't transfer the soldiers, it would be fine. At most, he would release the people. Now that the soldiers have been transferred, there is no one to catch. If the copper mine and the marble can't be found, then we will have to help from behind. We just arrived and encountered this. Well, we can't just stand by and watch. Didn't they say that there are two masters in the Zhang family? How could he have made such a mistake when he had thought of every conceivable possibility? Could it be that Zhang Zhong didn't listen to the masters and did something in private? Old Man Yao understood Old Man Pai's meaning. Even if Zhang Zhong made a mistake, he had to protect him. In fact, he knew that even if someone really reported this to the imperial court, nothing would happen to Zhang Zhong. However, the prestige that he had accumulated would be greatly reduced. At this time, the soldiers who were sent out to check reported to the military registrar, "My lord, there is no marble or copper mine. It's all wood. Please make the decision." "Oh, is it true? That's not right. The provincial governor asked me to send the soldiers because the evidence is conclusive. The provincial governor wouldn't treat such a big matter as child's play, right? Check again and watch carefully." Chapter 570. As the wood was piled up, the sky gradually brightened. Zhang Zhong was still standing there, looking at the ship and the wood. After a gust of wind and water, he shivered and finally set his eyes on the registrar. He said, "Registrar Fong, you look good. What's the good news?" "It's dawn, and the darkness is leaving. Registrar Fong, there are usually 2,200 soldiers in our province. I asked you to bring all of them out. Why are there only 500? Where are the other 1,700 soldiers?" The registrar thought that Zhang Zhong would discuss with him how to make up for this mistake. He didn't expect that Zhang Zhong would ask about the soldiers. His heart skipped a beat. Just as he was about to speak, the people who were being held shouted, "We're innocent! We're innocent! Where is the copper ore that you mentioned? Lord Zhang, I heard the people say that you are a good official. You have to see clearly. Now we're finished. We can't catch up with that kiln. Lord, aren't you a good official? Why do you treat the people like this? Lord Zhang, do you think it's time to let them go? The registrar immediately used the words of the other party to discuss with Zhang Zhong. Old Man Bai and the other two walked over as well. They suddenly realized that something was amiss. The person who had been captured was not afraid at all. No matter how they looked at it, the military secretary looked happy. The three old men looked at each other. No one said anything, but they all knew what was going on. Zhang Zhong was set up. The other party deliberately exposed a flaw to Zhang Zhong so that Zhang Zhong could borrow the soldiers to arrest them. Of course, they would arrest the wrong person. The people who were caught should also be involved in this matter. But what could they do? There was no evidence. It was troublesome. Zhang Zhong's reputation would plummet because of this. After the myth was broken, it was no longer a myth. In the future, more people would dare to attack the Zhang family and the Wang family. Yongqing, what's done is done. Just let it go. We'll think of something when we get back. When Old Man Pai saw that Zhang Zhong still did not have any expression of joy or anger, he thought that Zhang Zhong was scared silly. He could understand. If it were anyone else who encountered such a situation, they would have lost their composure. Fortunately, Zhang Zhong did not directly faint. Young people's bodies were really good. Old Man Yao also advised from the side. Yongqing, go back and offer up another prescription. It's best if it's more useful and beneficial to the country and the people. Just treat it as if this matter never happened. Kid, don't be afraid. Didn't we just catch the wrong person? Think carefully before making a move next time. Who doesn't make mistakes in their life? Go back and have a good meal, then sleep. You'll be fine when you wake up. Old Man Chong came over and patted Zhang Zhong's shoulder encouragingly. Zhang Zhong looked at the three old men and nodded emotionally. He said, Yongqing thanks the three of you for taking care of me. When we go back, I'll ask Xiao Bao and Cuckoo to cook a delicious meal with cold melon. It'll be more delicious to eat dumplings with 3 delicacies stuffed with cold melon. Okay, then let's go back and eat. Old Man Pai quickly followed up. He wanted to persuade Zhang Zhong to go back. When they went back, there would be a team of the best doctors in the Tang Empire. He was not afraid that Zhang Zhong would suddenly collapse. He wanted to take a good look at Zhang Zhong so that he would not fall ill. Zhang Zhong nodded and then shook his head. He said, There's no hurry. Military attaché Feng, I just asked you where the rest of the soldiers in the prefecture are. You have to tell me, right? Seeing that Zhang Zhong was still staring at this matter, the military attaché began to think in his mind. Did Zhang Zhong know something? Should not be. After Zhang Zhong found out that he had done something wrong, he wanted to use this to threaten the military attaché to keep it a secret. That's right, the 2,200 soldiers actually ate 1,000 in empty pay. But so what? It was impossible to fight in Suzhou. Who could fight here? Even if someone investigated, there was nothing to be afraid of. He could just recruit 1,000 people temporarily. Thinking of this, the military attaché was not worried anymore. He said to Zhang Zhong, Your Excellency, leave the military affairs to me. Your Excellency, you don't have to worry. 500 soldiers are enough to catch an ordinary person transporting wood. I have my own arrangements for the rest of the soldiers. Your Excellency, is it time to release them? There's no hurry. Military attaché Feng, I still want to ask, how are the remaining soldiers compared to the 500 in front of us? Was it a mess when you were charging? Was it because of the rusty saber and the loose bowstring? Zhang Zhong asked with a smile. Your Excellency, what do you mean? The military attaché could not understand what Zhang Zhong was trying to do. Was he going to make a fuss about the military equipment again? His face immediately became gloomy. He did not answer but instead asked a question. Zhang Zhong waved his hand. It's nothing, I'm just asking. If that's the case, then the other 700 soldiers sent by military advisor Feng will be easy to deal with. With Royal Prince Tong An's guards and this official's guards, it shouldn't be a problem to deal with 700 soldiers. That's it. There will be marble and copper ores. Even if the Taihu County magistrate personally escorted them and had 700 prefecture soldiers to protect them, they will not be able to escape. I am truly impressed. Each and every one of them is smart. Unfortunately, they used their brains in the wrong place. Your Excellency, what do you mean? The military attaché's voice was not soft when he said this, but everyone could hear that his voice was trembling. This meant that he was guilty. Old Man Pai and the other two people's eyes lit up. They asked, Yongqing, what happened? Guards, keep an eye on the surrounding people. If anyone dares to move, kill them all for this old man. Noticing the change in the situation, the old man asked Zhang Zhong and immediately gave orders to the guards he brought. Old Yao did the same. Both of them brought 100 family guards. Although there were only 200 of them, it was not a problem for them to deal with 500 prefectural soldiers of Shuzhou. Seeing that the two old men had made arrangements, Zhang Zhong was even less worried. This was also the reason why he brought the 3 old men here. Although Old Man Chong did not have any family guards, his skills were there for all to see. Moreover, he was so close to military attaché Feng, so he could subdue him easily. Nothing big happened. Let's wait. There will probably be news in less than 2 hours. Military attaché Feng, do you have anything to say? Or do you hope that your 700 soldiers can defeat the Tang and royal prince and my guards? Zhang Zhong said to the 3 old men, then looked at the military attaché Feng. In an instant, the military attaché Feng's back was drenched in sweat. His expression changed again and again, and his lips trembled. He kept swallowing his saliva, but he could not say a single word. The prefecture soldiers realized that the situation was not right. They wanted to do something, but when they saw the other 200 people glaring at them, they were so scared that they did not dare to move. They knew very well how capable they were. They could not even train twice a year, so how could they hope to defeat these 200 people? Moreover, they were the family guards of 2 important people that they could not afford to offend. They had to think about the consequences. The military attaché Feng was already confused. His eyes were filled with stars. He forced himself to stand there, unable to say anything. Zhang Zhong just smiled and did not speak. The 3 old men had questions in their hearts, but Zhang Zhong had a mysterious look on his face, so they could not ask. They also waited. Less than an hour later, 3 horses galloped over from the direction the registrar had glanced at. When the horses approached, the person riding on them jumped down and reported to Zhang Zhong. Zhang Zhong, you're in the middle of the night. Master, the 700 prefecture soldiers have surrendered. The county magistrate of Taihu County has also been tied up and is being escorted here. The marble and copper ores have all been confiscated. How are the casualties? Zhang Zhong asked with a nod of his head and Weiwei. In reply to Master, there were no casualties. When they were surrounded, they very obediently threw away their weapons. The person replied, That's good. Go and rest. Zhang Zhong regained his indifferent appearance. After the person went to rest, he said to the military attaché Feng, Military attaché Feng, what else do you have to say? If it was not this official, anyone else would have been fooled by you. It was just a diversion. Not a bad idea. Why did you use your cleverness in a good place? This official is very disappointed. This batch of wood is also good. It can be used to build the bridge in Shuzhou. No, that's impossible. You can't possibly know. The marble and copper ores are. They were transported separately and gathered together after being transported to another place. Outsiders would not be able to detect them at all. Furthermore, they were mixed in under the pretext of transporting other things, right? But so what? If you don't want others to know, don't do it in the first place. This official wants to build a good living environment for the people. I really don't want to play this kind of childish game with you. But you don't want to give yourselves any face. You always have a fluke mentality. Why don't you think about what this official does? Forget it. There won't be any more trouble in the future. Before the military attaché Feng could finish speaking in a hoarse voice, Zhang Zhong helped him to finish. At the same time he thought of his son. When Lake Tai was haunted, he asked his son about it. His son said it was not interesting. He thought that the opponent would be stronger, but the result was too disappointing. Only then did he arrange for people to keep an eye on it. With the help of the clairvoyance, they could see the opponent, but the opponent could not detect them. Their random actions led to the current situation. It was indeed not fun. After Zhang Zhong finished speaking to the military attaché Feng, he did not pay any more attention to him. He roughly told the three old men what had happened. He did not mention the people in his family and only told them how it was arranged. However, the three old men understood that this was definitely another trick of the Zhang family. It was indeed powerful. The opponent made a diversion and they beat them at their own game. They were worried for nothing just now and even comforted others. Now they needed to be comforted. Yongqing later on, don't forget to let Xiao Bao and Cuckoo make dumplings with cold melon. This old man's heart is hurt. I need a lot of nourishment. Old Man Pai glared at Zhang Zhong and said. Old Man Yao was also angry in his heart. This was too unreasonable. Zhang Zhong actually hid it from him. He was worried about him just now. What was this called? Yongqing, your family has many good recipes. Shouldn't you take one out? This was compensation. Old Man Chong was the most honest. He stretched out his hand and patted Zhang Zhong's shoulder again, causing Zhang Zhong to stagger. This body is not good. You should practice more. The next time you lie, this old man might not be around anymore. Chapter 571. Mountains and rivers roar, tens of thousands of people worry, especially like the earth cracking in waves, shocking the sky and waterlogging. Flee with the family, push the family away. Push the family away, the wind blows, the clouds roll, the heart is lonely, people gradually fade away. When the 700 government soldiers and the Taihu County magistrate were escorted over, the military registrar was also tied up. The 500 government soldiers surrounding him did not dare to move. The matter had escalated, and they did not want to continue to get involved. When the gods fought, the mortals just had to watch the show obediently. The military registrar's eyes were dull. He did not even care about the Taihu County magistrate who was locked in the same temporary prison van and cried out. When the team started to rush back, the jolting of the carriage made the military registrar's eyes clear up. His body swayed with the movement of the carriage. Occasionally, he would look forward and look at Zhang Zhong, as if hoping that Zhang Zhong would look back, but also as if he was afraid that Zhang Zhong would look back. It was very contradictory. Zhang Zhong did not pay attention to the military registrar at all. If it was someone else, they would have laughed at him, but Zhang Zhong did not have this kind of hobby. Moreover, he was not the one who came up with the idea. When his son was talking about the plan, he did not have the mood to show off after winning. The three old men squeezed into the same carriage again and swayed back and forth with the team. The curtain of the carriage was lifted, and they could clearly see the situation outside. Old Man Pai swayed and finally realized that something was wrong. This was not his carriage, nor was it Old Man Chang's carriage. It was Yao Chong's carriage. Old Man Pai squinted his eyes and habitually reached out to open the drawer of the carriage to get an ice drink. When his hand reached out, it was empty. He then reacted and suggested, "Why don't we go to my carriage? This carriage is too suffocating." "Exactly, the carriage is small and has nothing. Why don't we change and go to my carriage?" Old Man Chong also said. Old Man Yao had not experienced other people's carriages until now, so he felt that his carriage was not bad. Listening to the two of them, could it be that his carriage was really bad? Old Man Pai pointed to the carriage. "No fan." He pointed to the seat. "No shock absorber." He pointed at the space in the carriage. "This place is too small." He pointed at the space between the three of them and said, "It's missing the stove and other drawers that can be used at any time." He knocked on the board of the carriage. "Just one layer. If someone outside uses a crossbow to shoot at it, it'll be able to penetrate it in an instant. Stop from what you're saying, you have everything in your car. When Old Man Yao heard Old Man Pai belittling his car, his eyebrows furrowed tighter and tighter. Seeing that Old Man Pai still wanted to continue, he quickly interrupted him and asked in dissatisfaction. Old Man Pai smiled with relief and said, "Of course. Look at who made the car I'm waiting for. The best thing from the Zhang family and the Wang family is the house that can be put on wheels and then go. The next best thing is a few specially made cars. Unfortunately, those wheels are not easy to make, so they can only be made for the children. I still have to wait for my car." Old Man Chong seemed to have thought of Xiao Bao and Cuckoo. It was the two of them who asked someone to make the car for them. Not to mention the enjoyment, just the thought alone made him happy. He also smiled and shouted to the driver, "Stop the car." As soon as the car stopped, the three old men got off and directly entered Old Man Pai's car. Old Man Yao couldn't wait to sit down first. Only then did he realize that it was indeed different. With one sitting and one leaning, his whole body could be attached to the place where he sat. His whole body immediately felt different and comfortable. From the outside, this carriage looked like it was 1 foot taller, 1 foot wider, and 2 feet longer than his own carriage. Why did it become so much bigger after entering? As the carriage moved, he could feel the wind blowing from several places. Looking carefully, there were countless small holes where the wind was coming from. There are fans in these places. The other end is connected to the axle. When the wheels turn, the fans will turn. If you want to stop them from turning, there is a switch here that can be adjusted at any time. You stayed up late and didn't eat anything in the morning. Why don't you eat something hot? Since Old Man Bai had the opportunity to show off, he would not let it go. He extended his hand to the side of the carriage and with a paw sound, he pulled open a small opening. Inside was a handle. With a light shake, a cover descended from the roof of the carriage. Old Man Chong also broke the table in the middle of the three people, revealing a round hole in the middle. He stuck it at the side and a hot pot rose from the hole. Smokeless charcoal was put in and the fire was lit. Old Man Pai took out a thermos and poured soup into the hot pot. Looking at the color of the soup, it seemed to have been cooked long ago. Old Man Yao felt for a moment and found that the soup was still warm. He asked doubtfully, It's a thermos. Xiao Bao and Cuckoo gave it to me the day before yesterday. Put some hot water in and it won't be cold even if you let it sit for 24 hours. There is a slot under where you are sitting. Pull it up and take out the things inside. It will be delicious later." Old Man Bai shook the thermos flask in his hand and said with a smile. Old Man Yao followed Old Man Bai's instructions and found a card slot. He extended his hand and pulled, and a board was flipped over. Cold air immediately came out of it. Upon closer inspection, it was actually ice. He took out one by one. There were vegetables, meat, shrimp, a few powdered seasonings, and 4 kinds of sauces. Old Man Chong also took out a bottle of wine and a few wet wipes from his side. Old Man Pai took out chopsticks and a plate. Old Man Yao wasn't stupid. He knew what they were for, but he never thought that there would be such a space in the car. If these things were placed outside, such as between the clouds and the water, or in restaurants, it wouldn't be strange at all. But in the car it was a different story. They knew how to enjoy themselves, right? Compared to other rich people who showed off outside the car and asked people to cook and show off, this was the real show of extravagance and restraint. Old Man Bai picked up a frozen prawn with his chopsticks and dipped it into the hot pot. As he dipped it, he said, "This is the Mandarin duck hot pot." Over the past few years, the Zhang and Wang families have been cultivating the mountain spicy chili peppers, which are getting spicier. However, the quantity is too small. I heard from Xiao Bao and Cuckoo that there are spicier things called chili peppers. Unfortunately, they can't find them now. They need to go overseas to find them. You can eat whatever you want. Even if you don't want to eat vegetables, you can still eat some. This is called a nutritious combination. This is dry tofu and this is tofu skin. Remember to eat them too. Don't say too much. I've eaten at Savant's restaurant. What sauce is this? I've never seen it before. Old Man Yao replied and opened a small jar of sauce. Crab sauce. They don't plan to sell it yet. They only sell shrimp sauce. The price is high and ordinary people can't afford it. A small jar of good shrimp sauce costs 5 strings of money to ship to Beijing. This crab sauce is even more expensive. They can only sell crab sauce when others have a way to ship large amounts of shrimp sauce to Beijing. Old Man Chong explained. Old Man Yao was already indifferent to many things, but today, he couldn't help but feel jealous. He felt that it was unfair in his heart. Why did they hide all the good things for themselves? If they didn't go to Suzhou, they might not be able to eat many things in this life. Thinking of this, he suddenly saw the thermos on the side and said, "This thermos is good stuff. It doesn't need to be kept for 24 hours. Even if it's only for 8 hours, it can save people a lot of trouble. Especially for rich people. The maids and servants don't have to look after the stove at night. Whether they sell it or not, I'll buy a few to use at home. As long as it's not too expensive, I can still afford it. It's not bad to buy a few for my friends." When he said that, Old Man Yao's tone was sour. Old Man Pai heard and laughed. "Yuanji, you don't have to be like this. When we go back, I'll find Xiao Bao and Cuckoo and ask them to give you what you deserve. If you want to buy it, you really can't afford it. There are 2 layers of glass inside, and it's coated with mercury. There's actually nothing in the middle, just like the light bulb. Eat the food and wine, try it." Old Man Chong had already poured the wine soaked with medicinal herbs. Each person had a cup. Old Man Yao smelled the smell. "Is this the liquor sold by Zhang family and Wang family? No, that kind of liquor is actually very strong and doesn't taste good. This is liquor that has been in the cellar for about 4 years. It's been in the cellar ever since it came out. The earliest batch was soaked with medicinal herbs, so you can only drink 1 cup. If you want to drink more, you can only drink wine." Old Man Pai picked up the wine cup and took a sip. He took a deep breath and slowly exhaled. He enjoyed it very much. The 3 old men were enjoying the hot pot in the carriage. The hot air that rose up was carried out by the chimney that was connected to the cover. Everyone outside could smell it. None of them had eaten. After a night of torment, their expressions changed when they smelled such a fragrant smell. The prefectural soldiers who were locked up felt that they had no strength left in their bodies. They wanted to find a place to rest and eat the food in the carriage. Old Man Bai and Old Man Yao's house guards were secretly swallowing their saliva and glancing at the carriage from time to time. Li Sun's guards, on the other hand, maintained their neat formation without the slightest bit of disorder. They did not look around blindly either. The Zhang and Wang families' guards only needed to sniff their noses to know what was going on. Just like Li Sun's guards, they remained unmoved. The remaining 30 members of the Miao protection team took out things from their pockets. Some took out jerky, some took out fried noodles. They opened water bags and ate with water. As they ate, they talked about the taste of the food in their mouths. They meant that they ate with the taste of the food in their mouths. Occasionally they would take a sip of wine. It was a mess. They were scattered, so they talked very loudly with each other. Old Man Pai's guards did not say anything. They knew the capabilities of the Miao protection team. They were not considered a regular army, but a special force. It did not matter how chaotic it was. Old Man Yao's guards did not know. They glanced over from time to time and showed a look of disdain. Old Man Yao heard the commotion outside and looked out of the car window. When he saw that it was the Zhang family's Miao protection team, he frowned and said, "The Miao protection team? Can they really watch the fields?" Haha, Yuanji is wrong to think that way. Those 30 people are the most elite of the Zhang family. Their training methods are different. They need to be relaxed at all times and ready to fight at all times. If they are like other people, they will tire themselves out. I don't know about your generals, but if my generals were to fight with 100 of them on flat ground against 30 of them, it would be a Pyrrhic victory if they won in the end. After killing them all, there wouldn't be many of my generals left. If it were to be on the mountain or in the water, my 100 generals would be completely defeated. If one of them could run out to report, I would be satisfied. Old Man Pai saw that Old Man Yao was belittling the members of the Zhuang protection team, so he smiled and explained the situation to him. Are they really that powerful? Old Man Yao knew what Old Man Bai meant when he said that they were his family's generals. Seeing the two old men nodding their heads, he nodded his head and said, "No wonder when Zhang Zhong went out, they were standing guard at the closest and furthest place. It turns out that they were in charge of protecting and scouting." Yes, if they were not afraid of being criticized for training too many people, the Zhang family could train more. Now, there are only 56 people. Old Man Chong knew that the Zhang family did not have it easy. They could obviously have more experts, but they had to control them. Otherwise, with their financial resources, they could recruit 2,000 people and train them. Then, the imperial court would have to take care of them. Old Man Yao also understood this. But what if there is a more dangerous situation? For example, people like the two of us are sent to 200 guards. What should we do? He was now worried about Zhang Zhong. 56 people were really too few, especially when the Zhang and Wang families needed to protect so many people. There were a bunch of children, and they could not be divided. You don't have to worry about that. The Zhang and Wang clans still have their usual guards, and they're fully equipped. If we really start fighting, half of our 200 guards will be wiped out in one move. They're normally equipped with crossbows and sleeve arrows, and they haven't even mounted their horses yet. They can carry even more things on them. Old Man Chong was very concerned about this kind of thing. When he tested Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, he found that the two children had a lot of small items. A good sleeve arrow was 200 to 300 strings. The guards of the Zhang family and Wang family were equipped with them. He even suspected that the maids who usually served them also carried sleeve arrows. Rich people are really different. Where did they find people to make so many things for them? Oh right, they don't need to look outside. Their own skills are enough. Old Man Yao sighed. It was good to be rich. If you wanted to equip yourself with good weapons, you could equip yourself with them. Old Man Bai shook his head and said, "It turns out that the Zhang and Wang families weren't that capable." Later on, when you were dealing with the locust plague, their families had just gotten a little better. They immediately took out money to find craftsmen and began to train them. Before we came here, someone had already gone to the capital to participate in the craftsman competition. This is all thanks to the Zhang family. Yes, it is wrong to focus on agriculture and not on industry and commerce. Every aspect is useful. A good craftsman is not worse than a geniusher. A geniusher can rule a country, and the craftsman's research can strengthen a country. It is the same for medicine. Even the Imperial Academy of Medicine is not good. Isn't it because the officials look down on them? The reason why the Zhang family and Wang family are so powerful is that they include scholars, agriculture, industry, commerce, and medicine. No matter which aspect needs people, they can provide them immediately. I guess the best talents in the Tang Empire are in their family. Old Man Chong did not have a high status in the past, so he paid special attention to the people's livelihood. At first, he was a little confused, but now he finally understood why the Zhang family and Wang family were different from others. According to Xiao Bao and Cuckoo, this was called complementing each other. Just like that, the three old men ate and chatted as they followed the procession back. The people outside slandered and gossiped about what they wanted. Zhang Zhong did not enter his carriage. He rode on the horse and thought. The people were dealt with, but he still had to think of a way to deal with the people behind them. It seemed that he needed Li Sun to make a move. Otherwise, he would have to take out more prescriptions to exchange with the imperial court. It was very interesting. In the past, he had never thought that he could make such an exchange. Before he took the imperial examination, he thought that he would be upright and outspoken when he became an official. Now that he was an official, he knew that it was impossible. Even if he was thinking for the people, he would still be restricted. If it were not for his son and daughter-in-law who kept making good things to exchange with the imperial court and other people, it would be a dream for him to sit in his current position, let alone have someone to take care of the trouble he caused. Sigh. This road is not easy to walk, but since I am here I have to continue. Fortunately, I have a divine son and daughter-in-law. Who else has such a divine son and daughter-in-law? In the eyes of these two kids, small schemes are simply child's play. After pondering for a while, Zhang Zhong muttered to himself. His mood finally improved. Since things couldn't go smoothly, then he might as well ride the wind and break the waves. At home, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan began to teach their younger siblings how to read. They had to write big words and then make the paper into a kite. They had to ride on the big kite. It was impossible to let their younger siblings and the two foreign sisters learn how to read. Everyone wanted to play. If they could play, how could they sit still and learn how to read? Flying a kite was different. They had to make the kite into various shapes and then find a time when there was wind to release it into the sky. The 6 children saw the words in the sky. The maidservant kept reading the words, and the children unconsciously memorized them when they were curious. In the future, even if there were no kites, the children would know how to pronounce the words when they wrote them out. Under such circumstances, if they were 2 years older, they would be compared with other children of similar age. They would find that they had learned more than other children and would be praised more. In order to maintain this advantage and continue to be praised, they would take the initiative to learn. Many adults did not understand that when children learned well, especially in exams, not only would they not praise them, but they would also pour cold water on them, telling them not to be proud and that there were better people. In fact, it was not wrong to do this, but they must know how to adjust and not always pour cold water on them. If they were 10th in an exam, don't tell them that there were 9 people ahead of them. Instead, tell them that there were people behind them who were not convinced and would chase after them. This way, the children would feel that they were the leader and would work harder to increase the distance behind them. When the distance was widened, they would change from 10th to 9th or 8th. The method that Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were using now was an incentive policy. When the 6 little guys played the game, they also introduced such a mechanism. If they couldn't compare with others, then they would compare with themselves. 5 big kites were released. Some of the 6 children stretched out their small hands and pointed, while others looked at the kites with wide eyes. No one knew what they were thinking. This method was indeed useful. In just a quarter of an hour, the 6 little fellows had already memorized the 5 words. Just as the maidservant was about to change the kite, she was stopped by Zhang Xiaobao. It was enough to memorize 5 words today. Before the 6 little fellows needed to go to bed, this half an hour was to consolidate their knowledge. The mother kite was flying in the sky, and the child kites were hanging on the line below and rising together. When they hit the top, they folded their wings and slid down along the line. One kite after another, the children would release a kite once for each word they said. When the 6 children were tired of playing and were carried to sleep, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan looked at each other and smiled. Let's make the bicycle for them. Now it's more advanced than when we were at that time. Let them play more often. It's best to be able to control the direction by themselves. Zhang Xiaobao sat under the shade of the tree again, picked up a book to read, and played with his younger brothers and sisters for a while. For him and Wang Wan, this was a very happy thing. The happiness of childhood did not belong to them. Without them, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family would not have the background of an aristocratic family at all. They were forcibly promoted to the position of an aristocratic family. To be precise, they were on the verge of being an aristocratic family. It was not stable yet, so they had to continue to work hard. Wang Wan did not take a book, but took some food. Sitting next to Zhang Xiaobao, she ate 2 mouthfuls of shaved ice and said, "What do you think of the news that was sent yesterday?" "Oh, are you talking about the 4 people who were newly admitted to the imperial examinations in the past few years? They were actually assigned to be officials in Jiannan province, and they were in 2 neighboring counties. They were assigned to be the registrar and the county magistrate. The arranged positions were really good. They were arranged to be in Izhou. It's not easy to develop. What do they have there? There are a lot of good things there, such as fruits, silkworms and tea leaves. The tea leaves and silkworms are already famous, especially the Sichuan brocade. The fruits are good, but they can't be transported out. The climate there seems to be good for raising pigs, but now the grain yield is low. If they only rely on pigweed to feed them, how long will it take to raise them before they can be killed? Zhang Xiaobao's eyes were on the book, but he did not read a word. There he was analyzing what should be done to improve the living standards of the people in the vicinity of Chengdu, Sichuan. For students of the academy had been admitted this year and were assigned to that area. At first they wanted to rely on their own abilities to develop, but they found that it was difficult to progress there. So they sent one of the 4 pigeons back to the academy to send the news back. As for the news from the academy, there was no pigeons to send back. The news was directly sent to the academy. They asked for help from the academy. The academy did not know what to do, so they had to send the news here. As a result, it was sent to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. There had been a lot of talents in the academy in recent years. Some were genius and some were in other fields. Usually when they had difficulties, they would ask the academy for help. The academy could basically solve it. There was strength in numbers. There were also some people in the capital who were sponsored by the Zhang family restaurant who became officials one after another. However, none of them were like the 4 of them, running to Jianan Road all of a sudden. The road was extremely difficult to walk on, and the situation was extremely complicated. The people of the academy could not think of a solution, so they could only ask the dean for help. However, the dean did not do anything, and the troublesome ones were Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Xiaobao, will bamboo work? There are a lot of bamboo in Chengdu, and we need to open 2 restaurants. Not to make money but to send people there in the future. We need to have a place to eat and live. Wang Wan reminded him. Okay, bamboo will work. Aren't the 2 counties next to each other? Then let them build a paper mill together and ship it here. We need to use paper anyway. Think about it, what other specialties are there? There are medicinal herbs, right? These can be sent to Huayuan County Hospital to be sold. What else? Zhang Xiaobao frowned and thought that he could not help. These people would be useful in the future. There is also raw lacquer, which is a very good thing, but not many people buy it. It is not very useful. Wang Wan reminded him. Zhang Xiaobao was happy. Yes, there is also raw lacquer. Who said that it is not useful? It is a good thing. We can use it for ships and wires. Let the 2 counties plant a lot of raw lacquer trees. If there are not enough of them now, we can buy them from other places and sell them for money. There are also ginkgo trees, which are also medicinal herbs. Don't worry about the tea leaves and Sichuan brocade. Let's make these first. There are a lot of fruits there, so we can use the fruits to make wine. The leftover wine will be fed to the pigs. We don't need to eat grain. Then it's settled. I will arrange it. Wang Wan thought it was a good idea. Whether it could be done or not depended on the strength of the 4 people. This kind of thing could be done if one wanted to. She had already thought about it. As long as the wine was brewed, they would transport it here and sell it. The money from the sale would be exchanged for grain and transported back. They did not expect to make much money in the middle, as long as it was enough to buy grain and transport. They could transport it directly to the place by water. With a good ship, they were not afraid of being damaged in dangerous places. Even if the current was strong, they could rely on the ship to stop in the middle of the river. If there was really a more dangerous place, then they would send a few people from the seedling protection team to blow it up with explosives. After Wang Wan finished writing the letter and sent it out, the 6 little guys also woke up and ran to Zhang Xiaobao to play with their brother. After playing with them for a while and coaxing them to be led to the servant girl, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan finally had time to continue reading. Now the 2 of them were reading a book written by a famous official according to other notes. As for the rest of the books that should be read, the 2 of them relied on their young age and good memory to learn most of them. In addition, they had the comprehension ability of an adult. Other than revising and reading books that were not related to the imperial examination, there was nothing else to read. When the 2 of them were reading, someone came back to report that the matter with Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had been solved. The people were also caught, so the two of them did not need to worry. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were not worried at all. After reading for a while, they planned to continue to be light bulbs. The time to burn wine was too short. They had to continue to think of ways to make it into a commodity to sell. Zhang Zhong also brought the people back in the afternoon. There was no place to lock up all 1,200 prefectural soldiers, but if they were not locked up, he was afraid that something would happen. In the end, he had no choice but to leave a portion of Li Sun's men behind and let all 1,200 of them go to an empty space. The first 700 people who were caught were tied together with ropes. The other 500 people were much more lenient. Zhang Zhong was not in a hurry to interrogate the people he caught. He only sent a memorial to wait for the imperial court to make a decision. When the time came, he did not even have to interrogate them. He could just directly detain them to the capital. The capital could decide how they wanted to interrogate them. Li Sun also wrote a letter. Now that the place was set, he had to occupy the two mines, especially the marble mine. That was discussed with Zhang Xiaobao. It was for his own use. He also had to dig the copper mine. Now he had to send people to guard it to prevent others from stealing it. When Old Man Yao came back, before Old Man Pai could ask for a car from the Zhang family, the Zhang family personally sent the car over and said that it had just been made. This made Old Man Yao happy. He smelled the paint on the outside of the car. It was indeed just made. The smell of wood inside had not dissipated yet. Just as Zhang Zhong was waiting for news from the imperial court, something finally happened in Suzhou. When Zhang Zhong returned, 4 out of the 6 judges were detained. The other 2 were nowhere to be found. After Zhang Zhong returned to his residence for 5 days, someone quickly came to report that the Yangtze River in Wangjiang County had burst open. The flood had already washed many places, and the water was still flowing out. The people in Wangjiang County could not stop it at all. No one knew how many people had died, how many houses had been destroyed, and how the dam had burst open. When Zhang Zhong heard this, he was stunned. It had not rained these few days, so it was impossible for there to be a flood. Even if there was a flood, someone should have reported the rise of the water level first. Why did it burst open all of a sudden? Putting aside the other things in his hands, Zhang Zhong went directly to the courtyard where his son and daughter-in-law were. When he saw the two of them, he said, "Xiao Bao, the Yangtze River in Wangjiang County has burst open. We just received news." "Ah, burst open. That's not right. Didn't we arrange for people to go there to take a look? It can't be broken, especially when it hasn't rained yet. How could it be broken?" "Father, go and interrogate the county magistrate of Taihu County, that military attaché Feng, and the other 4 people we caught. They must know." When Zhang Xiaobao heard this, his heart immediately tensed up. There was a map at Wangjiang County, and it happened to be a place with a bend. If that place really burst open, then all the water would burst out. It was impossible to continue walking along the original line. Back then, they did not interrogate people to leave a chance for the people behind them. They should be people from the imperial clan. If they really found out anything, then it would be difficult to handle. As long as they occupied the mine and straightened out the officials in the state, it would be fine. Whether or not they killed people had nothing to do with the Zhang family. Now it seemed that they had no choice but to ask. That place suddenly burst open. Who would believe it if they told others? Unexpectedly, before the county magistrate of Taihu County said anything, the military attaché Feng had already said it. He said that the method was given by the higher-ups, which was to dig up the riverbank. As long as the water was flushed, Zhang Zhong would not have the leisure to care about anything else. Presumably, the 2 men who had escaped had arranged this matter. 5 days was not the right time for a fast horse to finish digging and then a fast horse to report back to them. This time, even Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were dumbfounded. They never thought that someone would dare to do this. How was this a political struggle? This was clearly a murderer, a blatant murderer. How could such a person exist? Was he not afraid that Li Longji would also kill people? This time, even if it was a prince, Li Longji would not let them go, let alone the younger generation of the imperial clan. His entire family would be killed. Madman, this kind of person was a madman. Zhang Xiaobao immediately became listless. He had asked the military attaché Feng in detail, and the military attaché Feng had told him everything except for digging up the river. It seemed that the two people had escaped, and it was too late to stop them. The river here was too long, and it was impossible to send that many people to guard it. Moreover, they were all riding fast horses. As long as they were late for 2 to 4 hours, they would not have to think about anything. Building a riverbank might take a long time, but destroying a riverbank was too easy. Even if we cut them into pieces, we will not be able to vent our anger. We have already lost, so how can we still cause trouble? If all the officials are like this, then at that time we can forget about keeping all the river dikes. We can blow them up with explosives, but those officials thought of running out and committing suicide, but they didn't mention using explosives to blow up the river dikes. Wang Wan's eyes were red. She could not understand how officials could do such a thing. How did those two people climb to their current positions? It was obvious that Wangjiang County was crippled. Who knew how many people had died? Zhang Xiaobao did not say anything. He closed his eyes and thought about things. At this time there was no point in complaining. Even if he immediately found those two people and the people who worked for them and killed them, it was useless. He had to think of a way to reduce the losses as much as possible. After half an hour, Zhang Xiaobao opened his eyes and began to call for people to give orders. He had to save people first. Perhaps many people had already died, but there were still people hiding in high places or trees. He also had to think of a way to block the gap. He first got people to go over and see how big the gap was. It was probably not small. When he destroyed it, he only needed to dig a little, and the river water would gradually fill the gap. *CK, how do I block it? This was the second time Zhang Xiaobao cursed. At this moment, Wang Wan took the map over. The two of them looked at the map together, hoping to find a solution. For example, if there was a big mountain beside them, they could dig stones and cut trees from the mountain, as well as how the terrain there was and where to send people over. Zhang Zhong was also anxious, but he could not think of a solution. This matter was already beyond his ability. Digging a breach in the river embankment was even more helpless than a flood when it rained. When it rained, they could at least be prepared. Now there was no preparation at all. They would be able to harvest in a few days. But now that the embankment was washed away by the water, the food was gone. How were they going to pay this year's rent? It was a man-made disaster. He did not know if the imperial court would waive the rent. Even if it was waived, he would have wasted a year. He originally wanted to pay more, but now it was even less. After the three old men heard the news, they sat together in a daze. They also did not expect that there would be someone who could do such a thing. This matter could not be blamed on the experts of the Zhang family for not foreseeing it. Who could have foreseen it? Even if Zhuge Liang was still alive, it would be useless. Zhang Zhong did not even dare to ask his son and daughter-in-law. It would put too much pressure on the two children. He could only wait in the signing room, hoping that his son and daughter-in-law would once again use their divine abilities to turn the tide. The military registrar who had confessed the matter did not have any happy thoughts. He had already been arrested. After hearing the situation over there, he clearly knew what the result would be. Not only would he lose a lot of people and money, even if he died, he would bear an infamy for eternity. He did not know if his family would be able to stay. If the imperial court vented their anger on him, then his entire family would be finished. Even those who were slightly related to him would not be able to escape. Chapter 572. We have to tell the emperor about this first. Otherwise, people will think that Zhang Zhong didn't do a good job. This is too hateful. We have to think of a way. We can't just watch the local people suffer. Old Man Pai wasn't in the mood to fish anymore. He sat there drinking tea and said to the two old men. He had never encountered this kind of situation before. He had to think about what to do slowly. They had to block it, but how to block it? It was hard to say if they could block it. Compared to the flood on the Yellow River, the Yangtze River was much worse. Old Man Chong was also trying to think of a way. He suddenly said, "How about this? Send more people to transport stones over. Block it bit by bit first, then seal the opening. It's best if we can find a way to make the water smaller." "How can the water be smaller?" Old Man Pai asked gloomily. "Why not? Didn't the people by the river use the river water when they irrigate the land? Let's get them to water the land again. Starting from upstream, the more water they use, the less water there will be. So clogged. It's not like there hasn't been a flood in the past. What should be flushed has been flushed. Let's just treat it as a flood like before." Old Man Chong added. Old Man Yao disagreed. "How can that be? The food of the people upstream is almost ripe. If we ask them to let the water go, the food will be soaked in the water again. They absolutely can't do it, even if we give them money. After all, the amount of food they have is related to their political achievements. It's true that there have been floods before, but when has it ever been good? Now it's man-made. The Zhang family can't bear such a big loss. If we don't think of a safe way, we won't be able to recover in 3 years. The water might even reach the state capital." The news was quickly spread to the imperial court by Old Man Pai and Old Man Yao. The entire imperial court was shocked. It wasn't because of the flood. Since the flood had already happened, the Zhang family and Wang family would think of a way to make up for the loss. Everyone was shocked. Who was so crazy? If all the local officials were like this, then wouldn't it be impossible to arrest people and punish them in the future? How many rivers were there in the Great Tang? When it was the rainy season, it was impossible to guard against them. If they were to dig up the rivers, didn't that mean that as long as it was the rainy season, even the local officials would have to tolerate their mistakes? Otherwise, they would start digging up the rivers. This kind of thing absolutely could not happen. They had to use torture to let all the officials know that if they dared to do this, their entire race would be wiped out. After the discussion of the punishment in the imperial court, everyone began to look forward to what the master of the Zhang family would do under such circumstances. Here this place is low. And here it has always been low. This place is slightly higher. That's great. It's fine as long as it's higher. Zhang Xiaobao was still studying the map when the people who went to check the situation came back. Just as everyone thought, almost all the villages near the river were gone. It was a vast expanse of water. Many people ran out with their families. It was still unknown how many people had died. The rescuers had also gone over. They rowed the boats to look for people who were still alive. The gap was a little bigger, but no one went to plug it. The water was spreading to other places very quickly. All the fields passing by were flooded. There was no hope for any harvest. After studying the military map in detail, Zhang Xiaobao finally showed a hint of joy. Wang Wan looked at Zhang Xiaobao and asked, "Xiaobao, do you have a good idea? Do you know how to plug it?" "Yes, I know. I'll go and arrange for people." Li Sun also needs to send people to call the people in other places. The road can be repaired later. Zhang Xiaobao nodded. He had a very bold idea in his heart. After talking to Wang Wan, he took her to find his father. Zheng Zhong had lost weight. In only 3 days, he had lost more than 5 kilograms. He was worried. The news should have reached the imperial court. He didn't know what they would do. And here he had sent people to rescue, but the water had not been plugged. The local people only cared about escaping and couldn't organize. Zhang Xiaobao hadn't seen his father for 2 days. He had been thinking about how to minimize this disaster. Now that he saw his father's appearance, he was distressed. If this went on, it was likely that he would fall ill. Fortunately, he had a way. "Xiaobao, Cuckoo, do you have a good idea?" When Zhang Zhong saw his son and daughter-in-law coming, the first thing that came to his mind was this. The 2 children were his last hope. If even the gods couldn't do it, Who else could he turn to? Zhang Xiaobao nodded fiercely. Father, there is a way. Didn't you mention that you wanted to repair the bridge last time? It was an official in Wangjiang County who said that we should take this opportunity to repair the bridge and connect the north and south of the river. This can be considered a political achievement. Now let's arrange for people to do things and get people to gather enough steel. Repair the bridge. Xiaobao, it's a flood now. It's not normal. Zhang Zhong didn't expect his son to mention repairing the bridge at this time. This didn't seem to have anything to do with disaster relief, right? That's right, father. It's to repair the bridge. While doing disaster relief, we can repair the bridge at the same time. It won't be delayed and will be repaired very soon. I reckon that when it's frozen, a bridge will be able to connect the two sides. At that time, transportation will be convenient. As long as there's more production here, we can raise the rent tax. Zhang Xiaobao said firmly. Wang Wan couldn't figure out how to repair the bridge. When Zhang Xiaobao began to issue orders and post notices in the name of his father, Wang Wan finally understood. Zhang Xiaobao saw from the map that the place where the Wangjiang River burst was at the lowest point. After the water rushed out, Zhang Xiaobao prepared to continue digging along the line and create a road for the water. Finally, it connected to a section of the embankment in front and dug the embankment there. The water from the upstream would flow back into the Yangtze River from the excavated area. What they needed to do now was to get more people to dig in the front and build a river embankment in the open space in the north. They would block the water from the embankment in the front between the undamaged embankment and the newly built embankment so that the water would flow directly into the area that was going to be blown out. In other words, they would artificially build a bridge for the water and let the water flow along this road. This was also the reason why Zhang Xiaobao wanted to repair the bridge. In the past, when they built reservoirs, they would first dig a river and lead the water over. Then they would first block the dam on the other side. When they were done, they would blow up the blocked area and block the other side again. Then the water would come back. Zhang Xiaobao wanted to lead the water away at this time and block the normal river channel. He wanted to use cement and steel to repair the bridge. This bridge was easy to repair. It didn't need to carry large vehicles that weighed tons. Using cement and steel to build the bridge piers at the bottom, it wouldn't be a problem even if they used wood to build the bridge. It was indeed fast. After Wang Wan figured out this matter, she hugged Zhang Xiaobao's head and kissed him hard on the cheek. Xiaobao, you really didn't disappoint. You're never the kind of person who compromises in the face of difficulties. At this time you can still think of making use of this opportunity. That's great. If the bridge is repaired, then this political achievement will be huge. Let's go and take a look. Basically, everyone in the province started to move. Those who had money contributed, and those who had power contributed. The money naturally came from the Zhang family, the Wang family, and Li Sun. The strength came from the bodyguards and the people around them. Zhang Zhong personally went there to take charge. As long as the people had someone to command them, it would be much easier. They didn't lack the spirit to fight, but they were afraid that there would be no one to lead them. The people in the inner courtyard of the Zhang family began to arrange people according to Zhang Xiaobao's plan. They started to build the embankment from where the water was shallow. After the embankment was built a little, they pushed it forward again. Bit by bit, they forced the water between the embankment of the Yangtze River and this side. There were also people digging a little further away. The people in the province started to move, but the three old men still didn't understand Zhang Zhong's intention. To be precise, they didn't understand what the experts of the Zhang family wanted to do. After asking Zhang Zhong, the three old men stared blankly as Zhang Zhong left to organize the people to work. It can actually be done like this. They diverted the water instead of directly blocking it. Then they took the opportunity to repair the bridge. They knew that the embankment was destroyed first. If I didn't know, I would have thought that it was Zhang Zhong who ordered people to dig up the embankment for the purpose of repairing the bridge. Old Man Chong said in surprise. He really admired this. If it was someone else, it would have been over long ago. However, the experts of the Zhang family made use of it. Not only did they block the water and prevent it from continuing to rush to other more important places, they also made use of this disaster to make some achievements. If the Zhang family wanted to repair the bridge, they could have waited until winter to fix the embankment here first before blowing it up. They couldn't have let the water rush in. He really wants to repair the bridge. I don't know if he can do it. If he can, then he will be the first person in history. No, the experts behind him will be the second person in history. Old Man Pai was also shocked by this plan. At the same time, he deeply felt the tenacity of the Zhang family. No matter how difficult the situation was, they would not admit defeat. And the more difficult the situation was, the more they would do. It was the same over and over again. Ever since he started raising chickens to help Old Man Yao deal with the locust plague, he had done this. No matter how many obstacles there were in front of him, he would go through them all. Old Man Yao stared at Zhang Zhong's back as he left. After a while he finally said, "As expected, he is quite capable. It seems that there is really no way to deal with the Zhang family in the future. People like him are not afraid of being banished at all. In the face of such a situation, they can still gain benefits. What can they not do? They can immediately think of a solution without any preparation. That is to say, as long as they have time to prepare, they don't have to worry about anything. This is a good idea, especially since the Zhang family now has cement. If they want to build a bridge in the future, they can do the same and build another dam in advance. When the time comes, they can start building bridge piers there. It will be much more convenient for people to travel between the two sides of the river. In addition, they can also build the land road. When the time comes, they can transport goods together with the water route. The food from the south can be quickly transported to the north, and the things from the north can also be transported to the south. It will also be convenient for people to travel between the two sides. If it is the Yellow River, the speed of transportation by boat can't compare to the speed of transportation by bridge. If there is a war, the bridge will be a great contribution. Old Man Pai and Old Man Yao thought differently from ordinary people. As long as they found something good, they would want to lead it to the imperial court. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan didn't care about what other people thought. If they wanted to build a bridge, they could do it. The most important thing was that they could afford to pay for the steel. The two of them had already decided that if the cement wasn't up to standard, they would add copper pillars to replace the poor quality steel when building the bridge piers. This was all money. If they wanted to build a bridge from the Yangtze River to the other side, it would cost at least 100,000 strings of cash. It was money. They had to spend it. Even if they spent it, they couldn't charge anything like before. Even if the money was paid by their family, they couldn't charge people a penny after the bridge was built. Fortunately, the transportation capacity wasn't that high now. It wasn't a railway bridge, so they didn't have to worry about overloading large trucks. The bridge deck didn't cost too much. After the bridge piers were built, they could use ropes to connect the bridge. Finally, they laid wood. If they wanted to build it better, they could use iron chains to connect the bridge piers. Money, it's not like my dad caused this. Why does my family have to pay for the repairs? We can't even collect a toll. Zhang Xiaobao mumbled as he looked at the commoners working in full swing. Wang Wan suddenly laughed. She knew that Zhang Xiaobao was muttering because he was bored. Not to mention that it was because of Zhang Zhong. Even if there wasn't any reason, he would still take the initiative to build the bridge. He didn't care how much money his family had to spend. There was a big difference between having a bridge and not having one. People who came and went didn't have to risk their lives. If the bridge here wasn't too important, then if they could build a bridge upstream, the dangers of the Three Gorges would be reduced. The really big cargo ships there rarely had accidents. Usually, the dangerous ones were the small boats or small cargo ships that carried people across the river. If there was a bridge, there was no need to use it. They could just walk on it. Now the bridge here was built for Zhang Zhong's political achievements, and also to help Li Sun. There was also a more important reason to build a bridge through this disaster. If it was successful, they could do the same in other places in the future. Xiaobao, why don't I pay for the bridge too? Li Sun, who was standing behind Zhang Xiaobao, heard Zhang Xiaobao's words and said aloud. Zhang Xiaobao looked back at Li Sun, shook his head and said, "No, you don't have to pay for it. If you want to pay for it when this bridge is built, you can build one on the Yellow River and directly connect it to the capital. Seems that the cement needs to be studied. What if it doesn't work?" Li Sun nodded seriously. "Okay, let's see how your bridge is first. Don't let it be washed away by the water. In fact, it won't cost much. Give me the cost of the cement. When the time comes, I'll use the marble stones to build a bigger yard for our brother and sister." "That's my brother and sister," Zhang Xiaobao corrected. "The same," Li Sun replied, but his heart was touched by Zhang Xiaobao's words. He was looking forward to the Zhang family's bridge being built so that people could pass through it normally. When the time comes, he would really go to the Yellow River to build the bridge. He would use some of the money from the transaction to build a few more bridges. It was just that steel and copper were a bit expensive, but cement was not worth much. Wang Wan also smiled. She admitted that the current environment was really very good. They could spend as much money as they needed. There was no such thing as buying a few bags. In the end, they only needed a little money, so how could they build something of good quality? No one could be greedy with their own money. Especially the price of the raw materials was very cheap. There were many times when they didn't even need to spend money to buy them. They just needed to find a place to pick them. For example, the materials used to make cement were very cheap. If a road could be built for the local people during the process of picking, the local officials would be very grateful. Usually, there wouldn't be officials coming over to ask for money. The big officials wouldn't bother to do that, and the small ones wouldn't dare. Li Longji was doing a good job now. Now that there was a way to solve the problem, the people didn't panic. Even the local people who were washed away by the flood didn't run around and beg for food like before. They all joined the operation. Naturally, the Zhang family and the Wang family paid for food and other things. This wasn't considered a salary, but it was the salary for 20 days. If they worked for a long time, all the rent and transfer would be waived. It wasn't that the Zhang family and the Wang family couldn't afford it, but that Zhang Xiaobao wasn't prepared to pay for it. If everything was measured by money, then this nation would be finished. There would only be money in their hearts, and there would be no morality or family. The current situation was to resist the disaster. There was also a period of post-disaster reconstruction. It was necessary to show the unity of this nation. If other businessmen were willing to pay to help, then it would be better. Zhang Xiaobao promised that he wouldn't embezzle any of the money. All of it would be used on the victims. After following them for 5 days, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan saw that they didn't need to take care of this matter anymore. They were ready to go back. Someone had already sent them a letter. The 4 little brats had begun to make a fuss because they couldn't see their brother and sister. Zhang Zhong also asked if the 4 little brats mentioned him. The result was naturally very disappointing. His children only knew to call him father when they saw him and endure his beard being kissed twice. They didn't usually think of him at all. Their brother and sister were the best. When Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were ready to go back, they also asked the 3 old men if they wanted to go back with them. They also made watermelon dumplings for the 3 old men to eat. The 3 old men thought of the food Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan made. They swallowed at the same time, but insisted on staying. They wanted to take a good look at this matter and see what was going on. When the time came, they could use it in other places to gain more experience. The canal could continue to be repaired, and then a bridge could be built on it to connect the 2 sides. This way, transportation would be more convenient. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan saw that the others didn't move, so they had to go back by themselves. Even Li Sun wanted to stay here and see how the water was blocked elsewhere. He also wanted to see how the bridge looked like, especially how many materials were used. He was afraid that others would cheat him. A caddy of iron was a lot of money. What if he didn't know and someone else bought more, or bought normal iron but used less? After the bridge pier was piled up with cement, it couldn't be seen from the outside. Who knew what it looked like inside? He had to be on guard. Li Sun still didn't know. What he was thinking about was what happened to Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan at that time. Just like what he thought, since it was piled up with cement, no one could see the situation inside. If there was a flood and it suddenly collapsed, he would say that it was the water behind it. It wouldn't happen once in 10,000 years, or even once in a million years. It couldn't even be compared to the Ice Age. Anyway, he would say it as shameless as possible. Even if everyone knew what was going on, it was just like the emperor's new clothes. After hearing and seeing more, he got used to it. At this time, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan didn't have such concerns. After all, it was still the time to talk about morality. After all, if someone fell to the ground and saved him, he wouldn't say that it was you who hit him. After the two of them arranged things properly, they rode back quickly. They didn't know what the little guys were doing. If they didn't know how to go, wouldn't they turn the sky upside down? When Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan returned to the younger brother and sister's courtyard, the four little guys had turned the sky upside down. Even the two sisters were making trouble. The maids in the courtyard were washing clothes for them, and they began to make trouble there. In fact, it was not right to say that they were making trouble. They kindly wanted to help wash. Each of them pulled a washboard and imitated others, making water everywhere. They didn't know whose clothes were, but they were distributed and put in basins for them to rub. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan had already used good soap powder. It was very convenient to wash clothes, and the clothes were easy to clean. The six little guys were avoiding the maids who were wiping their faces when Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan came over. As soon as Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan saw their younger brother and sister, they were happy at first. Then they laughed and made bubbles all over their bodies. It seemed that they had rubbed more vigorously just now. As soon as the six little guys saw that their relatives had come back, they opened their small hands and ran over. Zhang Xiaobao's younger brother ran and fell to the ground with a plop. He sat there and pondered for a while. Finally, he found the problem. His belt buckle was open. Just now, he stepped on it with one foot. He looked up at his brother and sister, got up angrily and continued to run over. When Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan saw their younger brother and sister like this, they were very proud. This was what they taught them. When they fell, they didn't cry. Instead, they thought about why they fell. Took them a long time to develop such a habit. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan were surrounded by their younger brother and sister. They came to the place where they washed their clothes. It seemed that they wanted to let the two of them see what washing clothes was. One by one, they squatted beside the washing board that was placed horizontally. They took the clothes out of the basin and put them on it. Then they threw their whole bodies on it to wash. Good job washing. Zhang Xiaobao immediately praised them loudly. He even used his strength to rub his hands twice. This time it was amazing. Xiao Bei directly rushed over and took off the only piece of clothing on Zhang Xiaobao's upper body. With a splash, he pressed it into the water and rubbed it. It was unknown how much soap they had put in. Every time they rubbed, a lot of bubbles would come out. Wang Wan looked and said, "Why don't you put some glycerin in it? It's a byproduct when making soap. It's just right for them to blow bubbles for fun." Zhang Xiaobao nodded, but his eyes were staring at the hands of the maidservants who were washing the clothes. He watched them rub there. Their hands were indeed good and well maintained, but Zhang Xiaobao always felt that something was wrong. "Why are you looking at their hands? Haven't you seen washing clothes before? Now we can only wash like this or use a stick to hit them. There's no washing machine." Wang Wan stretched out her hand and waved it in front of Zhang Xiaobao. "Yes, if there's no washing machine, then make one. I don't expect it to have all kinds of functions. As long as it can turn, it's fine. We can make a generator. Is it difficult to make an electric motor?" Zhang Xiaobao finally knew what was wrong. It turned out that it was missing a washing machine. "It's not difficult, but there will be leakage." Wang Wan followed. "Then don't use it. Use manpower, the kind that uses feet. It's better than washing by hand, right? It's even better if it's placed by the river. The maidservants only need to be responsible for pouring water into it. There's also an additional job of washing clothes. Zhang Xiaobao decided to free the maidservants' hands and not let them continue to wash clothes with their hands. Wang Wan nodded and then shook her head. Who will let you wash clothes? Won't they wash clothes in their own house? There's no market at all. Normally that's the case. However, there are many rich people who do get others to help them wash their clothes. Don't some commoners rely on this to earn a living? That's settled then. In the future, build more washing machines to help those who cannot find work. Zhang Xiaobao insisted mainly because he thought that there was something attractive about this matter, and that was the things used to wash clothes. It would be better if there were some spices to add to the fragrance. Many people might not worry about not having enough clothes to wash, but they came to wash clothes out of curiosity and identity. Even if they were not successful in the end, they could still sell washing machines. Wang Wan looked at Zhang Xiaobao's expression and guessed what he was thinking. She said, "Do you want to sell washing machines? This can't be sold. Needs good materials and a lot of money. People who don't have money won't use it. Rich people have maids and hired old women. Who would spend money to buy this? Why not? If you sell it as a product, no one will buy it. You can just sell it as a fashion trend. Let those people feel that if they don't buy a washing machine at home, the clothes they wear will be different from others. And some spice. Use different plants to distill, and then spray the washed clothes with a variety of fragrances, and the pure natural ones. Get it to the key cities of the better states and a place like the capital. There should be a market. How do you know if you don't try?" Zhang Xiaobao said as he walked to his yard. He wanted to go back and find a craftsman to make a washing machine. Wang Wan also followed behind to help with ideas. The 6 little guys were washing happily. When they saw that they were gone, they were stunned and found that they were about to walk out of the yard. They put down other things and ran with their legs tight. Zhang Xiaobao heard the footsteps and looked back. Only then did he remember that there were 6 little guys. Zhang Xiaobao paused and winked at Wang Wan. He clapped his hands and walked in front of her. He said, "Please do this with me." Wang Wan was a little stunned and immediately understood what Zhang Xiaobao was doing. She didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She followed Zhang Xiaobao and clapped her hands while walking. She said, "I'll do this with you. Please do this with me. I'll do this with you. Please do this with me. I'll." Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan kept repeating this process. As they talked, the 6 little guys also began to follow. They also said, "I'll do this with you," with Wang Wan. In the end, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan walked in front, and the 6 little guys followed behind. It was like a mother goose walking with her baby geese. Everyone who saw it was confused. They didn't know why the young master and the young lady were walking with the 4 little ancestors. In this way we can add poetry and other things in the future. They will be very willing to learn. They will even organize themselves to play like this. When Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan returned to the yard and asked someone to find a craftsman, they hugged the 6 little guys together and said softly, "How can you come up with so many ideas? The little guys are so pitiful. They don't even know that they are being schemed against." Wang Wan really understood Zhang Xiaobao's intention this time. Guidance. The learning method of guidance in the game was the best way. After waiting for another 5 days, the 3 old men realized that they couldn't build the bridge yet. They hadn't found enough things to block the bridge, so they finally came back. Staying outside was indeed not as good as staying at home. The main reason was that they didn't have a group of little guys. When they came back, they saw Luer, Xinair, Weiwei, Zhang Xiaobao, Wang Wan, and the others installing things. There was a man-made river in their yard, and there was a windmill connected to it. The 3 old men were now in the old man Pai's yard. They were very puzzled when they saw the thing. They wanted to ask, but seeing how serious the little guys were, they didn't want to disturb them. They could only wait by the side. After the things were installed, someone directly took a lot of clothes and threw them into the box. They didn't know what it meant. The 3 old men watched the group of little guys add water to the box and put in soap powder. When the other end was connected to the windmill, there was a rumbling sound from the box. It wasn't too loud. Zhang Xiaobao clapped his hands. The 6 little guys also clapped their hands, although they didn't know what this thing was for or what benefits it would bring them. Old Man Pai saw that everyone was done, so he came over to look at the situation in the box. It had already started spinning, and it was spinning quite quickly. He looked at Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan in confusion and asked, "This is?" "Grandpa Bai, you're back. This is a washing machine. It's used to wash clothes. With this thing you don't need to rub it with your hands or hit it with a stick. Can wash a lot of clothes at once. It's very fast and convenient. Grandpa Bai, how much are you willing to pay if I sell this to you?" Zhang Xiaobao introduced it to Old Man Pai and asked about the market demand. "I won't pay a penny. I already have someone in my family who specializes in this job. I have a lot of money and nowhere to spend it. Why would I buy this thing to wash clothes?" Old Man Pai didn't give him any face at all. Wang Wan laughed softly at the side. Zhang Xiaobao felt that it was too embarrassing. He smacked his lips and said, "Grandpa Bai, it's like this. As long as you buy this thing, I can give you the materials to add fragrance to your clothes for free. There are many kinds of fragrance, and you can wear it. People will laugh at an old man like me if I wear it. I won't buy it. I definitely won't buy it." Before Zhang Xiaobao finished speaking, Old Man Pai interrupted and refused. After he finished speaking, he turned around to look at Old Man Chong and Old Man Yao. The 2 old men nodded cooperatively, meaning that they wouldn't buy it. Zhang Xiaobao was stunned for a while. He said to Wang Wan, "You see, I told you that Grandpa Bai and the others don't need this at all. You just had to bring it over. Tear it down, tear it all down. Take it back to our own homes." Wang Wan laughed even louder. The others also laughed. Even the 6 children, who still didn't know what was going on, laughed like flowers. Old Man Pai quickly stopped them and said, "There's no need to tear it down. It looks okay and can be used. Keep it. Later I'll give one to your Grandpa Yao and Grandpa Zhang. As for the fragrance, I don't need it. I'll help you this time. Give it to someone else. Ah, this old man is easy to talk to. Grandpa Bai, then should I thank you?" Zhang Xiaobao asked as he pulled his brother to his side. "No need. I'm also very happy to be able to help little guys like you this time," Old Man Pai said with bright eyes. His gaze was fixed on the washing machine. Zhang Xiaobao nodded in admiration. "Grandpa Bai, you are really too noble. Then do you think I can still sell this washing machine?" "I've decided. If the important thing is that you buy a washing machine, I'll give you a good iron." "Yes, you can sell it. What does the iron look like? Is it better than a soldering iron?" "Xiaobao, how about this? If you sell it directly, you don't know what other people will think after they use it. Why don't you let me have a few first? I'll find someone to help you use it. I'll tell you the pros and cons. What about you two?" Old Man Pai knew that the things from the Zhang family had always been good. How could he miss out on this opportunity? Old Man Chong and Old Man Yao nodded at the same time. Old Man Yao had a lot of good friends. Old Man Chong wanted to give it to his family's master, Zhang Jiuling. The things from the Zhang family were definitely comfortable to use. Zhang Xiaobao curled his lips and said, "I'll take out a total of 5. You 3 can split it." Xiaobao, why don't you take out 2? We happen to have 3 people. If you take out 2, wouldn't the effect be better?" Old Man Pai didn't fall for it at all. "Little guy, you want to kill 3 with 2 peaches." Chapter 573. Danger, the flood washes away misfortune. Winds and clouds change, the people who leave have no return. Danger, who points to the blue sky to reverse the tide. Autumn arrives, the crabs are full, the fish is fat. While others were fixing the dam, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, who were free, began to research the items at home. Ever since they made the semi-automatic washing machine, the 2 realized that there were more comfortable things to make. For example, the solar shower. It was the kind that placed a large water tank at a high place. It was made of aluminum and coated with a layer of black paint. When the sun was shining, it would start drying early in the morning. When it was sunny, it could be used to bathe the younger siblings in the afternoon. It was very practical. Another example was the spray iron. First, it was enough to make a spray iron. Once it was sprayed, it would be ironed a few times. While making this, there was some unforeseen circumstances. There was no mist, only water jets. After some slight modification, it became a spray gun. The 6 little ones could each have a water fight. After solving the daily games of the younger siblings, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan finally had a new research direction. Building a biogas pool had many advantages. There could be biogas fertilizer, a biogas stove, and a biogas lamp. The biogas stove was easy to make. They just needed to make a stove to light it up. As for the biogas lamp, they just needed to remove the stove and light it up directly. It was more convenient to use than an oil lamp and brighter than candles. As for other things, they did not care. The 2 suspected judges had not been caught yet. There was no way to prove that they were the ones who dug the dam. Their families were still living under the supervision of the provincial government. The interrogation officer only knew that there were people above, but he did not know who they were. They all had a fixed contact point in another province. Only when there was trouble, the people above would ask for the help of one or a few officials from the imperial court. The list of suspected officials who had helped had already been sent to the capital. This kind of thing should not involve Zhangzhong. They had already sent people to the other provinces. Needless to say, the place that used to be had long been deserted. If they wanted to find traces of the transportation of ores and marble, it would not be Shuzhou's problem anymore. Whoever owned the territory would be responsible for it. The only thing that made Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan feel a little better was that the imperial court sent someone to deliver a decree, asking if Shuzhou needed any food aid from the imperial court. After all, a lot of places were flooded. Even if they had arranged for people to repair the dam, it was impossible to do it overnight. The water was still flowing. More and more houses were destroyed, and the fields were also soaked. Fortunately, before the water came later, the people in the areas that could be flooded had already moved away, and no more people died. Zhang Zhong did not even use Chong Pingcang. The people in the disaster area could not get back the money they owed. This time he did not directly wipe it off. After all, there were other people who had also taken loans. He only extended the repayment time and took out money to give them another loan. This was conditional. Within 10 years, the livestock and poultry produced by the people in Shuzhou who had taken loans had to be sold to the Sea Cloud Chamber of Commerce at a price slightly lower than the market price. It was considered a long-term investment. Of course, the matters asked by the decree had to be rejected. Did the imperial court need to deal with such a small matter? The imperial court only needed to arrest those who should be arrested and kill those who should be killed. The problems of the people's livelihood were not a problem. As long as the officials were good and sincerely worked for the people, no one would cause trouble, and there was enough money for basic construction. It would be difficult for a place not to become prosperous. Even the poorest place had its own advantages for development. It depended on officials and early development funds. Moreover, Shuzhou was not poor. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan did not need to go elsewhere to experiment. They could just build a methane pool in their own courtyard and collect the materials to produce methane from the prefectural city. After not seeing Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan for 2 days, the 3 old men missed them. After searching for a while, they found 2 people who were directing people to work in a courtyard that the Zhang family usually used to store sundries. Xiaobao, this is. Old Man Pai looked at the place and asked, not knowing what it was for. He now admired the 2 masters of the Zhang family even more. He could not see them even once. Where were they hiding? Basically, everything had to be done by Xiao Bao and Cuckoo. The 2 children were exhausted. They could not cultivate talents like this. Since they were in Sanshui County, they had seen the 2 children busy. Only Xiao Bao and Cuckoo were sensible. If it were the other 2 children, they would have quit long ago. Old Man Pai had told Old Man Chong about this before. At this time, Old Man Chong also sighed. He envied the people of the Zhang family and Wang family. Since they saw Xiao Bao and Cuckoo, they were always smiling when they saw them. They had not cried even once. Thinking about it carefully, it seemed that the people in charge of the Zhang family and Wang family were the two of them. They were directing people in and out, and it did not affect their studies. How did they give birth to children? Zhang Xiaobao was ordering people to make cement. When he heard Old Man Pai's words, he looked back and whispered to Wang Wan, "It's over. Cement can't be sold at a high price in the future. Later, help us cooperate. Let's earn money from the rich first." Wang Wan and Wei Wei were stunned. When they saw what the two were doing, they thought it through and nodded. "Grandpa Bai, Grandpa Yao, Grandpa Zhang, how did the three of you have time to come here? Come, serve the three grandpas good tea and freshly boiled melon seeds. Grandpa Bai, you should rest first. Cuckoo and I have nothing to do, so we came here to play." Zhang Xiaobao's face instantly turned into a flower, making people feel that it was more pure than Xiao Bei's smile. If they did not believe him, then they would be struck by lightning. Unfortunately, Old Man Pai seemed to have the means of a god. He was not afraid of being struck by lightning. He was indifferent to Zhang Xiaobao's words and did not go to the side to drink tea. The three old men firmly believed that tea and melon seeds were definitely not as important as what was in front of them. "It's good to play blindly. Xiaobao, tell us, what are you playing?" Old Man Pai continued to ask. "Actually, it's nothing much. It's just putting feces, grass, and other things together. After fermenting it, it can be used to make fertilizer. There will be a burst of air coming out of it. That air can be lit with an open flame." Zhang Xiaobao did not intend to lie to the three old men. If he did not want to say it, then he would not say it. Since he said it, then it was the truth. Old Man Pai and Old Man Pai knew that this kind of thing would appear in swamps. They did not expect it to be man-made. They explained it to Old Man Chong, who was next to them. Old Man Pai moved forward and carefully looked at the others working. Just as Zhang Xiaobao had said, Old Man Pai looked and indeed said, "Xiaobao, this thing of yours is good. It can be used to boil water and cook, and it can also be used to light lamps. I don't think there's much here. Just cement and copper pipes. The pipes should be used to release air. In this way, as long as one followed the instructions, even the common folk would be able to save on oil lamps, let alone candles. Once the gas inside is almost used up, the excrement will ferment and truly can be used as fertilizer." Xiaobao, the people of the Great Tang are suffering. After Wang Wan heard Old Man Pai's words, she immediately said, "Grandpa Bai, our family is also suffering. Now is the time of the man-made disaster and we have to take out a lot of money. What should we do? Grandpa Bai, I've decided to do this. That. The rich usually use the most oil lamps and candles. The more they use, the less other people can eat, especially candles. Why don't we start with the rich? Our family can provide after-sale service. For example, we can transport feces and grass to places designated by the rich. When the air is gone, we can help to clean it up. We won't charge more, we'll do it for free. We'll even help to transport the things that are cleaned up to places far away." Old Man Pai looked at Wang Wan's aggrieved expression and laughed. He said to Old Man Yao, "What do you think? Isn't it easier to talk to the two kids?" Old Man Yao nodded. It was indeed easier to talk. There was no need to make things clear. The benefits that should be exchanged were all exchanged. It felt like he was not talking to the two kids, but communicating with people like himself. It was very interesting. Old Man Chong knew how the cement was made. He had seen the process and estimated the price before. It was very, very cheap. The common people could also use it. He then asked, "Xiaobao, Cuckoo, how much is your family preparing to sell it for?" "I don't know yet. We're experimenting. We'll know later. I don't think it's too expensive. At least it won't exceed 30% of the oil lamps and candles used by the rich." "Yes, it won't exceed 30%. Zhang Xiaobao said very generously. However, the three old men did not feel that he was being generous at all. was 30% too little. Cement was not valuable. If one had to say that it was valuable, it would be the technical costs that the two little guys had been emphasizing. In that case, we'll talk about it after the experiment is done. Xiaobao, there's actually another reason why we're here today. The dam in Wangjiang County is being repaired, but many fields are flooded. We have to think of a way. Otherwise, this year's rent tax. Old Man Pai was reminding him out of goodwill this time. The tax was easy to deal with, but the rent could not be sent to the imperial court with money. The land was already flooded, and no one else could do anything. He believed that the Zhang family would have an idea. Zhang Xiaobao had not considered such a thing in the past few days. At this time, when Old Man Pai mentioned it, he fell into deep thought. It was indeed so. He could not lose such a large area for nothing. After thinking for a while, Zhang Xiaobao asked, "Did the fish, prawns and crabs in the river rush into the fields?" The three old men nodded. Heaving a sigh of relief, Zhang Xiaobao said again, "Then let the people who escaped from the original area go back and raise prawns, crabs and fish in the fields. When autumn comes, let other places exchange food for it. It's also part of the rent. We can't just leave it there. If the quantity is not enough, we can go to the river to fish again." Zhang Xiaobao had no other choice. Originally, there was such a way to raise them. Now that the others had been washed away, he would directly raise them with water. The output was higher than when he was raising them in the fields. It was just that there was less food. When autumn came, he would think of a way to sell it. After the three old men heard this, their eyes lit up, but they were a little uncertain. Old Man Yao asked, "It's feasible. If it really works, then there might be more people who will specially raise them in the future." That you're tuning in to the Whispers of Romance YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.